Chapter 130. The Chi Drawing Stone. It's indeed the aura of the nine heavens spiritual herb. With the Chi Drawing Stone, it'll be much easier to find it. Ling Xiao took the Chi Drawing Stone and used his mental strength to feel the aura within it. His eyes revealed a trace of a smile. With the Chi Drawing Stone, as long as it appeared within 1,000 feet of the nine heavens spiritual herb, the Chi Drawing Stone would light up. Although 1,000 feet was still like finding a needle in a haystack in the huge fearsome beast mountain range, it was still a clue. Thank you, I'm going to heal my injuries. Ji Feishuan smiled with a trace of sincerity in her eyes. No matter what, Ling Xiao had helped her a lot. Not only did he get rid of her enemies, but he also healed her injuries. Therefore, her gratitude came from the bottom of her heart. Don't mention it. I didn't lose out anyway. Ling Xiao grinned brightly. What did you say? Ji Feishuan's body stiffened. She was instantly enraged and looked at Ling Xiao with a trace of hostility. The trace of gratitude she had for Ling Xiao also disappeared without a trace. Ah. Nothing, nothing. I'll go catch some fish. Ling Xiao chuckled, turned around, and quickly slipped away. He felt that he had to restrain himself. Otherwise, he would be in trouble when Ji Feishuan recovered her cultivation. Ji Feishuan sat cross-legged by the pool. Her clothes were whiter than snow and her hair was like a waterfall. Her entire body was shrouded in a faint glow. Mist was rising and dense, giving off an ethereal temperament. Ling Xiao felt an aura that was as deep as the sea from Ji Feishuan's body. It was as if she had become one with the surrounding heaven and earth. This was a heaven realm powerhouse. They could become one with heaven and earth at any time and mobilize the power of heaven and earth. They had begun to surpass the limits of mortals. This was the process of exploring heaven and earth. It was also the process of life evolution. The purpose of every living being cultivating the martial Tao was to pursue the ultimate mystery of immortality. Ling Xiao also sat cross-legged not far away from Ji Feishuan. Ling Xiao had gained a lot from the battle with Wang Wei and Ouyang Yu, so he needed to digest it carefully. Just like that, Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan healed and cultivated in the valley. When they were awake, Ling Xiao would make all kinds of delicious dishes. Ji Feishuan was full of praise every time she ate them. The days were peaceful and warm. Just like that, a few days passed. Ji Feishuan's aura grew stronger and stronger. It seemed like she was about to break through the heavenly man void and reach another level. Ling Xiao knew that Ji Feishuan had completely recovered her cultivation at the 9th level of the celestial realm. Her aura was complete and flawless, and she was only a step away from entering the noble stage. On the other hand, Ji Feishuan appeared to be in her 20s. A noble plain cultivator in his 20s was extremely shocking in the entire 8 Desolation region. Those who could break through to the Guru realm before the age of 30 were all geniuses. However, if one wanted to comprehend the oneness of heaven and men from the Guru realm and advance to the celestial being realm, it would take many geniuses decades of effort. However, Ji Feishuan had already reached the celestial being realm at such a young age and was about to become a noble realm expert. Even in the entire war god continent, she was considered a peerless genius. Boom! In the valley, there was the sound of muffled thunder in the void. The weather changed, and the spiritual energy within a radius of 1,000 miles surged over. Rays of light spread across the place like divine chains. They soared into the sky and sealed off the entire valley. The sword hummed softly, and the grass and trees trembled. An extremely powerful sword aura soared into the sky from the valley and formed a gigantic purple light sword in the sky. Rumble. Purple lightning struck down with unparalleled heat. It enveloped the purple light sword, flickering and emitting an aura that could destroy everything. Whoosh! Ji Feishuan's figure soared into the sky and stood in the air. Her body was enveloped by countless dazzling sword auras. Tens of thousands of sword rays emitted purple divine light in the void. Her aura was shocking and shook the heavens and the earth. Her white robe and hair fluttered in the wind. Her aura was otherworldly and peerless. It was as if a fairy had descended from the heavens and emitted a copious amount of energy from the heavens and the earth. She actually comprehended the true intent of destruction of the purple firmament godly sword. What a terrifying comprehension. It seems like it won't be long before she can cultivate the purple firmament godly sword technique to the greater completion realm. Ling Xiao praised. The talent that Ji Feishuan displayed was even greater than that of her ancestor, Ling Xiao's disciple, Ji Hanqi. It was as if Ji Feishuan had gone through a life and death metamorphosis. Her sword Dao had also been refined and became even sharper, as if it could pierce through everything. At this moment, Ji Feishuan's eyes flickered. She looked into the distance and soared into the sky in an instant. Only Ling Xiao was left dumbfounded in the valley. Could it be that this woman has recovered her cultivation and is afraid that I'll ask her for a reward, so she ran away? Ling Xiao thought to himself, but he felt that it wasn't the case. Roar! An earth-shattering roar was heard. It contained a wave of madness and fear, and it was accompanied by the sound of an intense battle. It's the chaotic demonic ape. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. He could instantly tell that the roar was very familiar. It was from the chaotic demonic ape. Ling Xiao immediately understood something from the sound of the battle. This woman is really vengeful. She just recovered her cultivation and she can't wait to seek revenge from the chaotic demonic ape. Ling Xiao secretly clenched his teeth. He also moved and dashed in the direction of the roar. Fortunately, the roar was not far away. In addition, Ling Xiao was rushing. Although he was not as fast as Ji Feishuan, he still arrived very quickly. Boom! In a dense forest, countless towering ancient trees collapsed and the ground cracked. There were many sword marks that were hundreds of feet long and emitted a sharp aura. The chaotic demonic ape let out a miserable howl and fell into the forest with a loud boom. There was a huge bloody hole on its chest as if it had been hollowed out by something. When Ling Xiao arrived, he happened to see the chaotic demonic ape lying on the ground. Dust flew everywhere and countless rocks and plants were turned into dust. She ended the battle so quickly. Ling Xiao looked at Ji Feishuan who was in the void and clicked his tongue. At this moment, Ji Feishuan was standing in the air with an extremely sharp aura. Her body was emitting a dazzling glow. Her eyes were indifferent, majestic, and domineering. She revealed the domineering aura of an empress. In the void, a 10,000 feet long purple light sword slowly disappeared, emitting a destructive wave. Ling Xiao knew that it was the purple light sword that killed the chaotic demonic ape. With a single sword, the chaotic demonic ape, which was at the peak of the 6th rank, died. Although the chaotic demonic ape was severely injured by Ji Feishuan, this scene was still very shocking. The 100-feet-long chaotic demonic ape was shining with golden light as if it was cast in gold. It lay on the cold ground without any signs of life. Chapter 131. You're leaving. Ling Xiao felt something and raised his head to look at Ji Feishuan. That's right. The underworld sect has launched an attack and the grand mysterious ancient kingdom is in danger. I must return. You. Ji Feishuan's voice was very soft and there was an indescribable light flickering in her eyes. The young man in front of her was mysterious and powerful. Ji Feishuan even had a misconception that Ling Xiao was not a young man but an old monster that retained eternal youth. It seemed like there was nothing this young man could not do. I'm fine. Just walk 100 miles north from here and you will be out of the fearsome beast mountain range. You don't have to worry about me, hee hee. Ling Xiao laughed mischievously with clear and bright eyes. Who wants to worry about you? Shameless. Ji Feishuan giggled like 100 flowers blooming, causing the world to lose its color. There was a soul-stirring beauty to it. Ling Xiao's narcissistic words seemed to have washed away the sadness of parting by quite a bit. This chaotic world demonic ape will be my parting gift to you. Also, keep this well. If you have time to come to the Xuandu city, you can come and find me directly. Ji Feishuan pointed at the chaotic world demonic ape on the ground. Then, a light flashed in her hand and a jade tablet appeared. The jade tablet was very simple with 9 dragons carved on it. It was as gentle as jade and emitted a faint spiritual light. 2 ancient characters were carved on both sides. Mysterious King. Ling Xiao took the jade tablet and weighed it in his hand before he teased, "Don't tell me you're really going to make me a king on par with you. If that's the case, I won't be able to bear it. Take a guess." Ji Feishuan smiled sweetly but did not answer him directly. "Alright, we'll meet again someday." Ji Feishuan rose into the sky with her clothes fluttering. Her face was covered with a veil again, making her look like an otherworldly goddess. Ji Feishuan took a deep look at Ling Xiao before she left. Ling Xiao looked at Ji Feishuan's departing figure and suddenly had a wicked thought. He shouted, "Little Xian Xian, you have to wear the veil on your face properly. Don't let others see your face. One day, I'll personally take off your veil in Xuandu City. You're my woman." In the air, Ji Feishuan's body stiffened as a few black lines appeared on her forehead. However, she did not turn around. Instead, she increased her speed and soared into the sky, quickly disappearing into the depths of the clouds. Ling Xiao rubbed his nose as a trace of a smile appeared in his eyes. However, his attention soon fell on the chaotic world demonic ape. Little Xian Xian is really considerate. Knowing that this young master needs the demonic core of the chaotic world demonic ape, she killed this big guy in the blink of an eye. Hee, I'm rich now. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with excitement. With the chaotic world demonic ape's demonic core, Ling Xiao's heaven-devouring spiritual seed could be completely perfected. He might even be able to use it to break through to the dragon tiger realm. The chaotic world demonic ape was a peak 6th level demonic beast, comparable to a 9th level sky human realm expert. Its entire body was filled with treasures. Its fur, bones, and tendons could be used to refine powerful weapons. The blood essence in its body could be used to refine pills. Moreover, it was one of the treasures that Ling Xiao needed to break through to the 2nd level of the ancestral dragon's secret technique, the Earth Dragon physique. Ling Xiao took out the evil vanquisher ancient sword and began to dissect the chaotic world demonic ape. He stored the delicious meat on its body before pulling out its tendons, skin, and bones. The chaotic world demonic ape's fur was as smooth as jade and was impervious to fire and water. It was extremely sturdy and was most suitable to be made into powerful defensive treasures. With Ling Xiao's current powerful mental strength, it was enough to refine it into a high-grade defensive treasure. The chaotic world demonic ape's bones emitted a faint golden light and were extremely sturdy. It was an excellent material to be made into an offensive treasure. Fortunately, the space in the longevity ring was large enough to store such a huge chaotic world demonic ape. In the end, Ling Xiao found a head-sized demonic pill in the chaotic world demonic ape's dantian. It emitted a dazzling golden light without any impurities. It was as if it was cast from pure gold, buzzing and trembling. Streaks of sharp sword light rippled out from the golden monster core, containing unparalleled power. Ling Xiao's eyes suddenly lit up. This was his most important goal. The chaotic world demonic ape's demonic pill was a peerless spiritual seed of the metal attribute. It was enough to complete Ling Xiao's heaven-devouring spiritual seed. Thinking of the various benefits of completing the heaven-devouring spiritual seed, Ling Xiao couldn't help but feel excited. A complete heaven-devouring spiritual seed could not only devour the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, but also the vital energy in the body of an expert and the blood essence of powerful creatures to nourish itself. As the saying went, the Tao of heaven was to take from the surplus and make up for the deficiency. The Tao of man was to take from the deficiency and make up for the surplus. The heaven-devouring secret technique had almost interpreted this sentence to the extreme. More importantly, once the heaven-devouring spiritual seed was completed, Ling Xiao could cultivate the 7 limits divine skill of devouring heaven and destroying earth. This divine skill was earth-shattering and could sweep across the world. It was created by Ling Xiao when he was at the peak of his previous life. It could kill gods and destroy demons. It was also the reason why Ling Xiao suppressed Supreme Real Dragon and became the leader of the 10 titled Supreme Beings. Come here. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. He reached out and grabbed the demonic pill, keeping it in the longevity ring. At this point, he was finally at ease. Roar! Roar! At this moment, a powerful roar came from afar. The earth shook as if countless demonic beasts were heading in this direction. These beasts are really fast. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He knew that these were the demonic beasts of the fearsome Beast Mountain. They could not wait to pounce on the chaotic world demonic ape after it died. After all, demonic beasts advanced very slowly. However, if they devoured the flesh and blood of powerful demonic beasts, they could advance very quickly. Therefore, many demonic beasts were in a frenzy. Ling Xiao withdrew his aura and left silently, returning to the valley. The valley was very hidden. It was surrounded by mountains that pierced into the clouds. It was very difficult for ordinary people to find this valley. Ling Xiao was prepared to refine the demonic pill of the chaotic world demonic ape in this valley and cultivate the heaven-devouring spiritual seed to the complete realm. In the valley, there seemed to be a trace of the beauty's fragrance. However, the beauty had passed away. Ling Xiao felt an inexplicable sense of melancholy in his heart. Thinking of Ji Feishuan's alluring body and perfect curves, Ling Xiao's heart was suddenly filled with passion. I haven't broken through yet, and I'm already being invaded by my inner demons. Ling Xiao's body trembled. His eyes instantly regained clarity and a sharp light shot out from them. Breaking through from the spirit transformation realm to the dragon-tiger realm was the process of the integration of the small world and the outer world. Yin and Yang were in harmony, and the dragon and tiger worked together to draw the power of the heavens and earth to form the martial Dao seed. The true qi in the body would also transform into the powerful innate energy. If the true qi in the spirit transformation realm was water, then the innate energy would be steel needles. They could not be compared at all. Therefore, after breaking through to the dragon-tiger realm, one's combat strength would also increase by a lot. However, during the process of breaking through, the integration of the inner world and outer world was very likely to be invaded by external demons. If one's mental strength was not strong enough, they might suffer from qi deviation. Chapter 132. In the valley, there was a waterfall and a spring. Mist filled the air, and the bamboo forest was elegant. It was like a fairyland, emitting a transcendent aura. Ling Xiao dug a cave behind the white waterfall with the evil vanquisher sword and sealed it with rocks from the inside. Ling Xiao's breakthrough this time was no small matter. It was inevitable that there would be some commotion. Therefore, he was extremely cautious and chose a secret place for seclusion. The cave behind the waterfall was filled with mist that could conceal one's aura. Even if a demonic beast accidentally barged in, it wouldn't be able to discover Ling Xiao. It's worthy of being an archaic species. The metal attribute energy in this demonic core is really pure. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of anticipation. He recalled the infinite gung metal sword qi used by the chaotic demonic ape. It seemed to be able to tear the sky apart and contained unparalleled divine power. It forced Ji Feishuan to use the purple firmament godly sword art to resist it. The metal attribute energy was sharp, pure, and could penetrate everything. It was the most offensive energy among the 5 elements. Refine. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He immediately hugged the demonic core of the chaotic demonic ape in his arms like a chicken. His body emitted a golden divine light as the violent heaven-devouring true qi surged and drowned the demonic core in an instant. Buzz! Ling Xiao felt a trace of desire coming from the heaven-devouring spiritual seed. It buzzed and trembled. The heaven-devouring spiritual seed in his sea of qi shone brightly, revealing 4 colors of red, black, yellow, and green. It was like 4 divine chains of order. It extended out of his dantian and surrounded the demonic core. Boom! The violent energy in the demonic core exploded in an instant. It was like a thunderclap. Strands of golden divine light flowed. It was bright and sharp, containing a fluctuation that could penetrate the void. This was the pure gung metal energy, which was also the origin of the metal attribute's spiritual energy. Now, it emerged from the demonic core and rushed into Ling Xiao's body. The violent energy surged into Ling Xiao's body. His entire body shone with golden light. Mysterious runes lingered around him. His entire body turned into a huge golden vortex that devoured all the energy. The gung metal energy in the demonic core wreaked havoc in Ling Xiao's meridians. Traces of blood spread out. Ling Xiao felt like he was being cut into pieces. Endless pain surged out of his body. That kind of pain penetrated to the bone marrow, and his entire body felt like it was being torn into countless pieces. Furthermore, it seemed like it would take forever. Ling Xiao still had to stay awake and carefully sense everything in his body, guiding the heaven-devouring spiritual seed to refine the golden gung metal energy. Even though he had already experienced it once in his previous life, Ling Xiao's face was still slightly pale from refining the power of hepta metal this time. It was too painful. Devour the heavens and earth, return to the origin, the chaos spiritual seed, enter my body. Ling Xiao murmured softly. The simple syllable seemed to shake the surrounding void. Facing the pain that was enough to make people go crazy, Ling Xiao did not say a word. His eyes became brighter and brighter, with a kind of power that could see through people's hearts. Rumble. In the end, as strands of heaven-devouring true qi entwined and filled the air with runes, the golden Yao core suddenly exploded. Countless rays of golden light and violent energy dazzled the eyes, illuminating the pitch-black area as if it were daytime. The strange thing was that the violent golden gung force did not disperse. Instead, it was bound by a mysterious force. It turned into a golden stream of light and slowly entered Ling Xiao's mouth. Puff! 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 As the power of the Yao core was fully released, Ling Xiao's meridians could no longer withstand it. Suddenly, some of his meridians directly exploded. The golden gung force wreaked havoc, although most of it was quickly absorbed by the heaven-devouring spiritual seed. However, there was still a small part that dispersed in Ling Xiao's body, causing his internal organs and meridians to begin to tremble. He suffered heavy injuries. The Yao core was the essence of a demonic beast. Although the chaotic world demonic ape was killed, how violent was the energy contained in its Yao core? If Ling Xiao could use a special method to detonate the Yao core, it would be more terrifying than the self-destruction of an ordinary heaven realm expert. Therefore, one could imagine how destructive this violent energy would be when it dispersed in Ling Xiao's body. Although most of the energy was absorbed by the heaven-devouring spiritual seed, it was still a big burden to Ling Xiao. Rumble. The golden light around Ling Xiao became more and more dazzling. Strands of divine light intertwined and runes spread out. They were like divine chains that connected heaven and earth, transmitting a mysterious power. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the midst of the mist, as if he was a giant that could split heaven and earth. Roar! A clear dragon's roar resounded, shaking heaven and earth. The golden divine light condensed, as if it had turned into a huge golden flood dragon that coiled around Ling Xiao's body. The flood dragon's blood burned in an instant, and a powerful vitality spread out. It was as if the vitality could split the heavens. The broken meridians and damaged internal organs in Ling Xiao's body began to be healed by the powerful vitality, and it became stronger and stronger. Ling Xiao was completely immersed in the cultivation of the heaven-devouring secret skill. A faint five-colored brilliance began to bloom around his body, mysterious and unpredictable. Just like that, Ling Xiao was like a god, sitting cross-legged in the endless brilliance, forgetting everything. After an unknown amount of time, an extremely powerful aura radiated from Ling Xiao's body. White, azure, black, crimson, and yellow lights shot out, forming a five-colored divine halo behind Ling Xiao's head. It was mysterious and unfathomable. The five-colored divine ring trembled slightly, and there seemed to be 5 ancient seal characters flashing in it. In the end, it spun wildly, turning into a huge vortex. Devouring the heavens, devouring the earth, refining everything. In Ling Zhao's Qi Sea, the five-colored light of the heaven-devouring spirit seed circulated, emitting a mysterious, ancient, and majestic aura. The true energy in the entire Qi Sea began to rotate rapidly along with the heaven-devouring spirit seed. Rumble. Lightning filled the air, as if it was splitting heaven and earth. The momentum was shocking. Ling Zhao's cultivation began to skyrocket at a speed visible to the naked eye. 8th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm. 9th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm. Early 9th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm, mid 9th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm, late 9th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm, and complete 9th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm. In the end, it was as if millions of divine lights shot out from Ling Zhao's Qi Sea, shaking the heavens and displaying the endless might of heaven and earth. Crack. Ling Zhao's cultivation also broke through the bottleneck of the 9th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm, reaching the 10th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm. The 10th level of each realm was like a forbidden existence that couldn't be spoken of. However, Ling Zhao knew that he was completely standing in this realm. It was like standing at the peak of a mountain and taking that step, standing at the peak of the heavens, completely breaking the barrier of humanity. Roar! Roar! The dragon's roar was clear and peerless, shaking the heavens. At the same time, it was accompanied by a tiger's roar, causing the earth to tremble. The clouds in the sky changed color, and endless rays of light descended. Chapter 133. Dragons and tigers coexist, and the wind and clouds change. The power of heaven and earth surged wildly, sweeping away all the spiritual energy within 1,000 miles. Ling Zhao devoured all of it. An unprecedented feeling of power appeared in Ling Zhao's heart. Ling Zhao also opened his eyes from his cultivation. Whoosh whoosh. 2 golden divine lights shot out, and in Ling Zhao's eyes, there seemed to be a mysterious scene of dragons and tigers converging, making him look incomparably mysterious and majestic. The Dragon-Tiger Realm, so this is the real Dragon-Tiger Realm. Ling Zhao sighed softly, and a kind of enlightenment appeared in his heart. For ordinary martial artists, breaking through from the 9th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm to the Dragon-Tiger Realm would require their inner world to connect with the outer world and undergo the baptism of the power of heaven and earth. The true energy in their body would transform into innate true energy and possess the divine power to subdue dragons and tigers. But how could they compare to Ling Zhao? Ling Zhao stood at the peak of the 10th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm, peeking into a trace of the power of heaven, and using the true meaning of martial arts to condense the dragon-tiger true form, revealing an incomparably terrifying power. The true dragon and white tiger avatars that had yet to dissipate in the air were the best proof. Moreover, the heaven-devouring spiritual seed in Ling Zhao's body had been completely perfected, turning into the foundation of Ling Zhao's martial arts, which helped him break through to the Dragon-Tiger Realm in one fell swoop. The wordless heavenly book seemed to know that this transformation was extremely important to Ling Zhao, and surprisingly, it didn't come out to snatch the energy. The majestic energy of the chaotic world demonic ape was refined by Ling Zhao without reservation, which allowed him to have such a major breakthrough. However, the commotion caused by the breakthrough this time is a little too big. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of a wry smile. This valley was only 100 miles away from the periphery of the Fierce Beast mountain range, and the Dragon Lake apparition in the void could be seen from 1,000 miles away. This kind of dragon-tiger true form was simply unheard of, and it might attract the attention of some old monsters. Ling Zhao didn't want to be in the limelight. Boom! Ling Zhao smashed the mountain rocks outside the cave with a punch, and the aura of his body converged, turning into a faintly discernible shadow as he rushed out of the valley. Just as the dragon-tiger true form was condensed and revealed in the sky, in the depths of the Fierce Beast mountain range. A pair of eyes as bright as the sun flashed out from the endless fog. A terrifying aura swept out in all directions, and the countless demonic beasts in the surroundings began to tremble, letting out roars of unease. The core area of the fearsome Beast Mountain range was shrouded in mysterious mist all year round. It was a forbidden area for countless demonic beasts, and no demonic beast dared to step into it. At this moment, the fog was churning and huge waves were surging. The scene was extremely terrifying. It was as if a primordial ferocious beast had awoken from its slumber, emitting an incomparably terrifying aura. The dragon and tiger true forms have appeared and the secret territory of immortality has appeared. It seems like the 8 Desolates region is going to be in chaos again. An aged voice rang out, rumbling like thunder. Within those blazing eyes, traces of vicissitudes and sighs flashed. Within the rising mist, one could faintly see an incomparably huge figure. Boom! Blazing runes suddenly lit up, and huge chains emitting 7-colored light shot out from the depths of the earth, instantly binding that huge figure and pulling it towards the depths of the endless fog. You can't trap me. My mission isn't here, but in, the aged voice contained a hint of anger, but then it abruptly stopped, and the terrifying aura also slowly quieted down. The fearsome beast mountain range regained its tranquility. It was just that the fog in the deepest part of the mountain range seemed to have become thicker. Not long after Ling Xiao left, a crane's cry rang out. It pierced through gold and cracked stones, cut through layers of clouds, and landed in the sky above the valley. It was a huge red-crowned crane that looked very majestic. Its entire body emitted a faint spiritual light, and it was surrounded by clouds and mist. On top of the red-crowned crane stood a thin black-robed old man and a few young men and women with extraordinary temperaments. The black-robed old man's face was clear, and his aura was as deep as the sea. His aged eyes revealed a look of bewilderment. The manifestation of the dragon-tiger true form is a phenomenon that only appears when a supreme genius breaks through to the dragon-tiger realm. Why would it appear here? The black-robed old man's eyes flickered as he fell into deep thought. Legend had it that when those supreme youths broke through to the dragon-tiger realm, the dragon-tiger true form would appear, causing heaven and earth to resonate with it and manifest a phenomenon. Could it be that a young supreme being had appeared here? Elder Crane, I think this dragon-tiger true form is a prank created by a senior who is in seclusion, right? How could someone in this world manifest the dragon-tiger true form when breaking through to the dragon-tiger realm? A handsome young man clearly didn't believe it, and said aloud. That's right. When Senior Brother Snake broke through to the dragon-tiger realm, he manifested the dragon-tiger illusory form, and was already praised as a demonic talent. There are not many people in the entire sect who are more talented than Senior Brother Snake. How could there be such a terrifying person in this barren mountain range? I don't believe it either. A very seductive and scantily clad woman smiled. In the middle of them stood a handsome young man in a black robe who looked to be in his 20s. He was vaguely regarded as the center of attention, and his body emitted a powerful aura. It was extremely cold, and his eyes flickered with a cold light that seemed to be able to pierce through the void. The black-robed old man thought for a moment, and said with a faint smile, "You're right. Perhaps it's really the doing of a senior." Wu Hen's aptitude is indeed very strong, reaching the Grandmaster realm at such a young age. In the entire 8 Desolates region, he can be considered as a supreme youth. The capital of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom is our last stop. I hope we can find some clues there. Elder Crane, you flatter me. The black-robed young man said indifferently. All right, everyone, cheer up. This time, you can go to the capital of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom to see the geniuses of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. It will be very beneficial for you to spar with them. Elder Crane warned. Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. Hee, Elder Crane, aren't you overestimating them? I heard that there aren't many in the younger generation of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom that are worthy. I'm afraid they aren't qualified to spar with us. That's right. The geniuses of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom are all trash. I can defeat them all with one hand. However, I heard that there's a genius princess in the royal family of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. She has become a disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. If we meet her, perhaps we can spar with her. Hee. The genius princess is mine. Don't fight with me for her. The other young men laughed arrogantly and did not take Elder Crane's words to heart. Let's go. Chapter 134. Ling Xiao left the valley and headed in the direction of the capital city. He walked like the wind, sweeping through the forest at an extremely fast speed, like a blurry shadow. In the blink of an eye, he had traversed a distance of hundreds of feet. Not long after Ling Xiao left, he was keenly aware that there were a few powerful auras heading towards the valley. There are demonic beasts and human experts. This fearsome beast mountain range is really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. But this time, I've really gone too far. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly, thinking as he hurried on. He checked his Dantian Qi Si and found that there was a mysterious change in his Qi Si. It was as bright as the Milky Way. The heaven-devouring spiritual seed emitted a five-colored light, slowly turning into a huge vortex. The endless heaven-devouring true Qi in the surroundings rotated around it. Each strand was dazzling and contained an unparalleled power. The heaven-devouring true Qi could be called the heaven-devouring true Gang after experiencing the suction force of the heaven and earth. A strand of heaven-devouring true Qi was dozens of times stronger than before. It was comparable to the Gang Qi in the body of a grandmaster. Moreover, after the heaven-devouring spiritual seed was completed, the five elements circulated endlessly. It could absorb the spiritual Qi of the heaven and earth at any time and anywhere to replenish itself. Ling Xiao no longer had to worry about his genuine Qi running dry. Even if he used all his strength to perform powerful martial arts, the heaven-devouring true Qi in his body could quickly recover. To a certain extent, Ling Xiao's recovery ability was even more abnormal than that of a grandmaster expert. I can finally practice the 7 limits divine skill of devouring heaven and earth. From now on, I will have one more powerful attack method. Ling Xiao took a deep breath, and a trace of anticipation appeared in his eyes. The 7 limits divine skill of devouring heaven and earth was created by Ling Xiao when he was at the peak of his previous life. It was based on the heaven-devouring secret skill and reference to countless martial arts in the world. It was a peerless divine skill that could slay gods and slay demons. This divine skill used one's own strength to activate the power of all things in the world, as if punishing on behalf of the heavens. Its power was unparalleled. As Ling Xiao hurried on, the 7 limits divine skill of devouring heaven and earth began to appear in his mind. This was a martial art created by Ling Xiao, so no matter what, Ling Xiao would never forget it and could instantly comprehend its martial truth. Devouring the heavens and destroying the earth 7 limits divine technique, for elephant sky-striking style. The heaven-devouring spirit seed began to tremble slightly. Then, a powerful surge of heaven-devouring true Qi burst out, transforming into 4 mysterious beams of light, ready to fight against the heavens. Ling Xiao suppressed this thought, knowing that now was not the time to cultivate this divine technique. The 7 limits divine art of devouring the heavens and extinguishing the earth had a total of 7 styles. The 4 elephants strike the heavens was the first style. It used one's own strength to trigger the power of the 4 elephants and transform it into an unparalleled offensive power. Ling Xiao only circulated it slightly, but he could already feel his heaven-devouring true Qi surging wildly, as if it was going to be depleted in an instant. With my current strength, even if I use the 4 elephants strike the heavens, I'm afraid I won't be able to fight anymore after one attack. Ling Xiao sighed softly, but his eyes were incomparably bright. However, this power is indeed extremely terrifying. The 4 elephants strike the heavens condense the power of the 4 elephants of earth, water, wind, and raging fire. It could be dispersed or gathered. When used, the wind and clouds would surge, the heavens and the earth would change color, and it could erupt with unparalleled divine power. In Ling Xiao's previous life, when he used the 4 elephants strike the heavens as a supreme, he had once killed several supremes of the same realm with one attack. He broke the sky and recreated the chaos. This showed how abnormal this move was. Ling Xiao did not use it. Instead, as he hurried along, he comprehended the various mysteries of this move in his heart. His body seemed to be surrounded by the 4 elephants' divine light, which was very magical. Just as Ling Xiao was about to leave the ferocious beast mountain range, he suddenly felt a cold murderous intent from the dense forest in front of him. The murderous intent was extremely faint. If it were not for Ling Xiao's incomparably strong mental strength, he would not have noticed it at all. Is it the underworld again? You guys are really haunting me like ghosts. A trace of coldness flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. From the dense forest in front of him, Ling Xiao could feel that there were more than a dozen auras fluctuating. It seemed that the underworld had really put in a lot of effort this time. They actually sent out so many assassins in one go. However, Ling Xiao was very curious about how the underworld's assassins could find him again and again. However, this kind of secret was very difficult to torture out. The previous 2 times had failed. In that case, I'll use you guys to test my 4 elephants strike the heavens. Ling Xiao said faintly. Under the perception of his powerful mental strength, the figures and positions of the 15 assassins in the dense forest were all clear. There were no secrets at all. Therefore, at this moment, these assassins were living targets for Ling Xiao. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's figure did not stop. Like a faint stream of light, he swept into the dense forest. The first assassin was hiding in an ancient tree at the periphery of the dense forest. He was dressed in a green robe and his aura was very faint. He blended into the branches and leaves. Seeing Ling Xiao enter the dense forest, a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. A long green sword silently appeared in his hand and stabbed toward Ling Xiao. The long sword was like a poisonous snake that was dipped in poison. Without any sound, it pierced toward Ling Xiao's heart. It was extremely ruthless. Whoosh! Puff! At the same time, Ling Xiao's figure seemed to be enveloped by countless cold lights. A few cold sword lights, an imperceptible poisonous fog, and hidden weapons that flickered with cold light were all aimed at Ling Xiao's vital points at the same time. These assassins cooperated with each other very well. This wave of attacks almost sealed off all of Ling Xiao's possible escape routes. Killing intent filled the air. Even a grandmaster would die in the face of such an assassination. A faint mocking look appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. Whoosh! His figure flashed and 4 streams of light seemed to pass by around him. They merged into the void, and Ling Xiao disappeared in an instant. All the assassins' attacks lost their target. A series of metal clanging sounds could be heard, and poisonous fog filled the air. What? The assassins were shocked. Their expressions became extremely solemn. Without thinking, they leaped and fled into the distance. If the attack did not hit, they would flee immediately. They all knew that the person in front of them was definitely not someone to be trifled with. He was not someone they could deal with on their own. Want to leave? I'm afraid it's too late. I'll use you guys to test my 4 elephants hitting the sky style. Ling Xiao's indifferent voice sounded as if it was floating in every corner of the dense forest. Rumble. Thunder roared between heaven and earth. In an instant, the wind and clouds changed color. The earth shook, and there seemed to be a raging fire burning in the void. Ling Xiao's figure appeared in midair. Surrounded by the 4 divine lights, he faintly displayed an extremely terrifying scene. Rumble. The divine light of the 4 symbols swept over in an instant. One could faintly see the Xianhuang earth qi, raging flames, fierce winds, and torrential water all fusing together to form an earth-shattering killing force that enveloped all the assassins. This was not martial arts, but the power of the gods. It was the power of the way of heaven. It made a trace of despair appear in the eyes of those strong-willed assassins. Chapter 135. 4 Elephants Sky-Striking Style. This was the 7 Limits divine technique of devouring heaven and destroying earth. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a hint of sharpness and aggressiveness. It was as if he had transformed into the heaven-devouring supreme from his previous life. Whoosh! Ling Xiao took a deep breath. Suddenly, Endless spiritual energy rushed towards him and was swallowed by Ling Xiao. His body shone brightly, and the feeling of weakness dissipated a little. For Elephant's sky-striking style was a sublimated move. It used one's own strength to trigger the power of heaven and earth, and unleashed a power that could shock heaven and earth. Even with Ling Xiao's insane recovery ability, he couldn't sustain it for long. Although with my current strength of true qi, my energy reserve is almost depleted after one attack. However, with the ancestral dragon's secret technique, my physical strength isn't any weaker than true qi attacks. In fact, it's even stronger. Ling Xiao thought to himself. If someone really thought that they had grasped Ling Xiao's weakness and attacked him after he used the four-elephant sky-striking style, they would be in for a big surprise. With Ling Xiao's current terrifying physical strength, even a supreme being expert would die without a doubt under one punch. Ling Xiao searched through the dozen or so assassins. Other than the silver tokens and some poisons and hidden weapons, there was no other useful information. Now, silver token assassins were no longer a threat to Ling Xiao. Even if a gold token assassin came, Ling Xiao wouldn't be afraid. After passing through the dense forest in front of him, it suddenly became clear. In front of him was an endless field. The plains were vast, and the land was extremely wide. In the distance, there was a huge city sitting on the plains. Under the sunlight, it emitted a faint green glow. Is that Qinghua City? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he recognized the huge city. It was Qinghua City. Qinghua City was only 1,000 miles away from the capital. If Ling Xiao hurried, it wouldn't take long for him to reach the capital. Let's go to Qinghua City to see them. The faces of Ren Tianqing, Old Wu, and the others appeared in Ling Xiao's mind. Of course, there was also the pretty Ren Qingluo and the cute Yu, The Skywalker escort agency had saved Ling Xiao, and Ren Tianqing and the others' forthrightness had won Ling Xiao's favor. Moreover, Ren Tianqing and the others seemed to be related to Ji Feishuan. Ji Feishuan had previously asked Ling Xiao to take care of Ren Tianqing and his daughter. Behind him was the majestic ferocious beast mountain range. The mountain range rose and fell continuously, and ancient trees towered into the sky, emitting a savage aura. In front of him was a vast plain and the huge Qinghua City. Ling Xiao walked towards the direction of Qinghua City. Every step he took covered a distance of more than 100 feet. His slender figure was elongated under the sunlight, and very quickly, he disappeared from sight. A few hours later, Ling Xiao entered Qinghua City. Qinghua City was built using a type of green mole stone, and under the sunlight, it exuded a green brilliance, which was why it was called Qinghua City. Although Qinghua City wasn't as prosperous as Lifelong City, it still had a population of several 100,000. The city was bustling with activity as people came and went. Ling Xiao stopped a passerby and asked for the location of the Sky Escort Agency. However, when the passerby heard Ling Xiao asking for the location of the Sky Escort Agency, he was so frightened that his face turned pale. He quickly shook his head and left in a hurry without saying a word. Ling Xiao asked a few more passers-by, and the result was the same. Everyone was terrified and afraid that they couldn't avoid him. It seems that something has happened to the Sky Escort Agency. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he vaguely guessed. However, according to Ling Xiao's understanding, the governor of Qinghua City didn't care much about worldly affairs. Other than the governor, the most powerful agencies were the Sky Escort Agency and the Dragon Tiger Escort Agency. Wang Wei, the head escort of the Dragon Tiger Escort Agency, and a large number of elites had died in the ferocious Beast Mountain Range. Logically speaking, nothing should have happened to the Sky Escort Agency. However, looking at the expressions of the passers-by, it was obvious that something had happened to the Sky Escort Agency. Where is the Sky Escort Agency? What happened? Ling Xiao grabbed a fierce-looking man. He was dressed in black and carried a long saber on his back. At first glance, one could tell that he was a martial artist, and his cultivation had reached the true Qi realm. When the man saw that his arm was grabbed by a young man, he was immediately unhappy and scolded, "You're fucking looking for death, before the man could finish his sentence, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and a fierce and monstrous aura oppressed him. The man in black was so scared that his face turned pale. He knew that he had kicked an iron plate. "Hero, please spare my life. Hero, please spare my life." The man in black fell to his knees and kowtowed like he was pounding garlic. "Get up and answer my question." Ling Xiao frowned and showed a trace of impatience. "Hero, could it be that you've just arrived in Qinghua City?" The man in black carefully glanced at Ling Xiao. When he saw Ling Xiao frown, he quickly explained, "Hero, you don't know. A few days ago, the head escort of the Sky Escort Agency, Ren Tianqing, came back and announced that the head escort of the Tiger Escort Agency had died in the ferocious Beast Mountain Range. Then, he began to occupy the Tiger Escort Agency's territory and became the biggest force in Qinghua City. Moreover, Wang Wei never appeared. Everyone guessed that maybe Wang Wei was really dead, and that he was killed by Ren Tianqing. Although the Tiger Escort Agency and the Sky Escort Agency had always been in conflict, no one could do anything to the other. Who would have thought that Ren Tianqing would be able to kill Wang Wei? Just when we thought that the Heaven Escort Agency would become the biggest force in Qinghua City, Wang Wei's younger brother, Wang Hu, who was cultivating outside, came back with a powerful young master and attacked the Heaven Escort Agency the day before yesterday. Who would have thought that Ren Tianqing would be seriously injured by the young master that Wang Hu brought? Wang Hu regrouped the people of the Huwei Escort Agency. At the same time, he gave the Heavenly Escort Agency 3 days to commit suicide and hand over Ren Qingluo and Ren Qingyu to the young Grandmaster. Otherwise, he would exterminate the entire Heavenly Escort Agency. Not even a chicken or dog would be spared. Today is the last day, and the Sky Escort Agency is about to be destroyed. Therefore, no one in Qinghua City dares to have anything to do with the Sky Escort Agency. Hero, you won't be able to find out anything about the Sky Escort Agency. The black-clothed man told Ling Xiao the location of the Heaven Escort Agency and ran away in terror. Wang Hu, a young master. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered, revealing a trace of coldness. A young master who could defeat Ren Tianqing in one move. Could he be a disciple of a martial Dao Holy Land? I'd like to see who dares to say such arrogant words and wipe out the Sky Escort Agency. Ren Tianqing and his daughter were Ling Xiao's saviors. Now that Ren Tianqing was seriously injured and that so-called young master was trying to get his hands on Ren Qingluo and her sister, Ling Xiao's heart was filled with rage. Chapter 136. Qinghua City, Huwei Escort Agency. In the magnificent hall, a young man with an arrogant face and an extremely cold look sat at the head of the table. He was holding a pretty maid in his arms. The maid's clothes were taken off, revealing her smooth and seductive body. The young man's hands were unscrupulously kneading the pretty girl's breasts. The pretty girl's face was full of pain, but she didn't dare to make a sound. Below the young man stood a middle-aged man in black. He was burly with bulging muscles and a fierce face. At this moment, he had a flattering look on his face. The middle-aged man was Wang Wei's younger brother, Wang Hu. Wang Hu put on a fawning smile and said, "Young Master Snake, today is the last day of the Heaven Escort Agency. Looks like we can go and ask for them tomorrow. However, I don't understand why you're giving them 3 days. Why don't you just kill Ren Tianqing and snatch the sisters away? What do you know?" The young man laughed coldly and said, "If I kill Ren Tianqing, then those beautiful sisters are clearly unyielding people. If they commit suicide or refuse to submit even if they die, then wouldn't that spoil this young master's mood?" This young master gave the Heaven Escort Agency 3 days to grind down the temperament of those sisters. Death is not the most painful thing, but waiting for death is the most painful thing. I believe that in these 3 days, the temperaments of those sisters have been pretty much worn down. When I magnanimously forgive Ren Tianqing tomorrow, won't those sisters be so grateful that they'll automatically throw themselves into my arms? Brilliant. Young Master Snake's methods are really brilliant. To be able to get young Master Snake's favor, the sisters are really lucky. Wang Hu smiled and said flatteringly. I know what you're thinking. It's easy to avenge your brother. When I'm done with the sisters, I'll give them to you. As for Ren Tianqing, you can do whatever you want with him. The young man glanced at Wang Hu and said lightly. Thank you, young Master Snake. Thank you, young Master Snake. Wang Hu was overjoyed and immediately knelt down in front of the young man. He was completely relieved. Ren Tianqing, just you wait. Tomorrow will be the day of your death. I want you to see with your own eyes that your two beautiful daughters will be played to death by me. To comfort my brother's soul in heaven. A hint of sternness flashed across Wang Hu's eyes as he thought to himself. Little baby, come on. A trace of lust appeared in the young man's eyes. He tore open his clothes and pressed the pretty maid towards his crotch. The Sky Escort Agency was located in the East City District. It occupied an area of several hundred acres, with many lofts and houses. It looked very imposing. However, at this moment, the two red lacquered doors of the escort agency were tightly shut. There were still traces of blood on the stone steps. The two stone lions at the entrance had also been smashed into pieces. It was a complete mess. There was a tense atmosphere in the air. This was the scene that greeted Ling Xiao when he arrived at the Sky Escort Agency. Dang dang. Ling Xiao knocked on the door. The crisp sound caused the quiet street to become even quieter. Who is it? After a long time, a cautious and vigilant voice came from the door. I'm a friend of the head of escorts. My name is Ling Xiao. You'll know once you inform him. Ling Xiao said calmly. Just you wait. That voice rang out, and then it fell silent. Not long after, the two red lacquered doors opened with a bang. A bearded man with a mountain-splitting axe rushed out. Behind him was a group of escorts from the Sky Escort Agency. Their eyes were filled with excitement. Brother Ling Xiao, is it really you? The bearded man was none other than Old Wu. When he saw Ling Xiao, his eyes were filled with surprise and joy as he hugged Ling Xiao tightly. Brother Wu, it's me. Ling Xiao smiled. It's great that you can come. The Sky Escort Agency is saved. Brother Ling Xiao, please come in. Cough cough. Old Wu said excitedly, but then he coughed violently. A trace of blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. Brother Wu, are you hurt? Who hurt you? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. He immediately grabbed Old Wu's arm and sent a trace of true qi into his body. Who else could it be? Young Master Ling, of course it's those bastards from the Huey Escort Agency. Young Master Ling, please save our Sky Escort Agency. Many of our brothers have died these days. A skinny middle-aged escort said emotionally. His eyes were red. He was one of the escorts who followed Ren Tianqing. He had seen Ling Xiao's power in the fearsome Beast Mountain range. He had killed countless monsters and even Wang Wei had died in Ling Xiao's hands. So when he saw Ling Xiao, his heart was filled with hope. It was as if he had seen the savior of the Sky Escort Agency. Yes, young Master Ling, please save the Sky Escort Agency. Young Master Ling, it's fine if we die, but the head escort and the two ladies can't fall into the hands of those bastards. Young Master Ling, please. These iron-like men were usually proud and heroic. But now, they were so sad that they cried and knelt down in front of Ling Xiao. These escorts had seen Ling Xiao in action with their own eyes. After experiencing the crisis of life and death in the fearsome Beast Mountain range, they were full of admiration for Ling Xiao. As for those escorts who had not been to the fearsome Beast Mountain range, they were all very curious. Ling Xiao looked like a teenager of 15 or 16 years old. Although they could not see the depth of his cultivation, it should not be too high for someone his age. Why did Old Wu and the others see Ling Xiao as the savior of the Sky Escort Agency? Get up, all of you. I'll take care of this matter until the end. Ling Xiao smiled and raised his hand into the air. Instantly, everyone felt a powerful force lifting them up. Everyone's hearts trembled, and the anticipation in their eyes grew even stronger. Boom! Ling Zhao's heaven-devouring true qi entered Old Wu's body. He found that there was a strange black true qi raging in Old Wu's body like a poisonous snake. It destroyed the true qi in Old Wu's body and injured his meridians. When it sensed Ling Zhao's heaven-devouring true energy, the black heterogeneous true energy actually tried to devour it. You're courting death. A cold light flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. The heaven-devouring true qi exuded an ancient and majestic aura. It instantly enveloped the strange black true qi and refined it. The majestic heaven-devouring true qi surged into Old Wu's body and devoured all the strange black true qi. It turned into pure energy and nourished Old Wu's meridians. The strange true qi in my body has been dissolved. A trace of shock flashed in Old Wu's eyes. He was amazed by Ling Zhao's mysterious means. The strange black true qi was left behind by the mysterious grandmaster. Old Wu had suffered a lot in the past few days but still could not dissolve it. He did not expect Ling Zhao to refine it so easily. Chapter 137. Bring me to the head of escorts. Ling Zhao said with a smile. All right. Brother Ling Zhao, follow me. Old Wu's spirit was lifted. He laughed heartily and led Ling Zhao into the Heaven Escort Agency. After passing through a few courtyards, Ling Zhao finally saw Ren Tianqing in a room filled with the fragrance of medicine. Ren Tianqing looked extremely haggard at this moment. After not seeing him for a few days, he seemed to have lost a lot of weight. His face was extremely pale, and his lips were purple. There was a black aura between his eyebrows, and he looked much older. He was coughing violently, and there were traces of blood at the corner of his mouth. Father, are you all right? The beautiful figure taking care of Ren Tianqing was Ren Qingluo. Ren Qingluo had also lost a lot of weight. She looked extremely haggard, and her delicate face was a little pale. Her eyes were filled with worry. When she saw Ren Tianqing coughing up blood, her hands trembled. She did not care about the bowl of medicine that was smashed on the ground as she hurriedly walked towards Ren Tianqing. Let me do it. A warm, clean hand grabbed Ren Qingluo's arm. The voice was calm and familiar. Ren Qingluo seemed to have thought of something and turned around abruptly. Ling Zhao's radiant smile came into view. Ling Zhao, it's you. It's really you. Ren Qingluo was stunned. Her long eyelashes trembled, and her eyes were filled with joy. Then, pearl-like tears fell from her eyes, and she threw herself into Ling Zhao's arms. Father, it was as if the sorrow that she had been suppressing for the past few days had all been released at this moment. Ren Qingluo hugged Ling Zhao and cried loudly. Don't worry, I'm here for you. Ling Zhao smelled the girl's fragrance and caressed Ren Qingluo's hair. He smiled and said. After a while, Ren Qingluo seemed to have thought of something. She looked up and saw Old Wu and the others looking at her with a half-smile. Her face instantly turned red. She reluctantly got up from Ling Zhao's arms and scolded herself for not being reserved. However, she did not dare to look at Ling Zhao again. Ling Zhao, you're back. When Ren Tianqing saw Ling Zhao, his eyes also revealed a hint of surprise. He struggled to sit up. Head of escorts, don't move. Let me take a look at your injuries. Ling Zhao grabbed Ren Tianqing's arm and sent out a wisp of heaven-devouring true qi. It's useless, don't waste your energy. Ling Zhao, I know my own condition. My heart has been injured, and I can't be saved. Ren Tianqing smiled bitterly and shook his head. The black qi between his eyebrows grew thicker and thicker. Ling Zhao did not say a word, but when he saw the condition of Ren Tianqing's body, he frowned. Ren Tianqing's body was in a terrible state. Old Wu had only been invaded by a strand of heterogeneous true qi, so he wasn't seriously injured. However, Ren Tianqing was different. On Ren Tianqing's chest, there was a black palm print that emitted a dense and cold black aura. The strange black genuine qi completely invaded Ren Tianqing's body, messing up his meridians. His internal organs were severely damaged, and he was on the verge of dying. This was especially true for Ren Tianqing's heart, where the strange black genuine qi had completely enveloped it. Ren Tianqing could only rely on his own genuine qi to fight it off, but it wouldn't take long for the strange black genuine qi to invade his heart. When that time came, even the gods wouldn't be able to save Ren Tianqing. How is it? Head of escort's injuries, can they be treated? Old Wu asked expectantly, full of confidence in Ling Xiao. Ren Qingluo clenched her fists, her pale face filled with anxiety. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao, as if a single word from him could decide Ren Tianqing's life and death. They can be saved. Ling Xiao nodded affirmatively and said, all of you, leave first. I'll treat the head of escorts first. Old Wu, Ren Qingluo, and the others heaved a deep sigh of relief when they heard Ling Xiao's words. They were pleasantly surprised. Ha ha ha. I knew it, there's nothing Brother Ling Xiao can't do. Let's not just stand here, let's go and let Brother Ling Xiao treat the head of escorts. Old Wu urged with a hearty laugh. Thank you. Ren Qingluo looked at Ling Xiao seriously, smiled sweetly, then turned and walked out. Not long after, only Ling Xiao and Ren Tianqing were left in the room. Brother Ling Xiao, I know my own condition. You don't have to console me. I don't deserve to die, but I beg you to take care of Qingluo and you, in the future. They can't fall into the hands of those beasts. Ren Tianqing looked at Ling Xiao with a pleading expression. Head of escorts, I wasn't trying to console them just now. I meant what I said, your injuries can be treated. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His face was full of confidence. How is this possible? My heart meridian has already been invaded by a foreign type of vital energy. Ren Tianqing's face was filled with disbelief. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and didn't explain anything. A powerful aura emanated from his body, and strands of golden light surged toward Ren Tianqing's body. Although Ren Tianqing's body was in a terrible condition, it wasn't too difficult for Ling Xiao. Heaven-devouring true qi was the nemesis of all foreign types of vital energy. The only problem was the foreign type of vital energy surrounding Ren Tianqing's heart. If he wasn't careful, the foreign type of vital energy would invade his heart meridian, and that would be troublesome. The powerful heaven-devouring true qi surged endlessly into Ren Tianqing's body, rushing toward the foreign type of vital energy that was wreaking havoc. Feeling the majestic, mysterious, and ancient aura from Ling Xiao, Ren Tianqing couldn't help but be shocked. The foreign type of vital energy in his body was like a mouse that had seen a cat, and it started to become restless. Could it be that his injuries could really be treated? Ren Tianqing was surprised and delighted, and he began to cooperate with Ling Xiao's treatment. The heaven-devouring true qi was dazzling, and it flowed with five-colored divine light. It seemed to have turned into a blazing vortex, continuously devouring the foreign type of vital energy and refining it. Just like that, time passed by minute. For hours later, the light in Ling Xiao's hand trembled, and the golden vital energy around him began to calm down. Ling Xiao also opened his eyes. All the foreign type of vital energy in Ren Tianqing's body had been neutralized by Ling Xiao. Even the foreign type of vital energy near his heart, which was the most dangerous part, couldn't escape being refined by the heaven-devouring true qi. At this moment, although Ren Tianqing still looked very weak, his life fluctuations had stabilized. Ling Xiao gave Ren Tianqing a healing elixir, and Ren Tianqing fell into a deep sleep. Creak. The door opened, and Ling Xiao walked out, looking exhausted. Refining the foreign type of vital energy wasn't difficult for Ling Xiao, but it was very difficult to prevent the foreign type of vital energy from destroying Ren Tianqing's heart meridian. Ling Xiao's mental strength was very focused. After such a long time, even Ling Xiao felt very tired. It was a kind of mental exhaustion. When the people outside saw Ling Xiao walk out, they immediately looked at him with anticipation. Fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. Chapter 138. Ha ha ha. I knew that Brother Ling Xiao would be able to heal the head of escorts. Brother Ling Xiao, you've saved the head of escorts, so you're my benefactor. Please accept my bow. Old Wu laughed heartily, but his eyes were instantly wet. He bowed deeply to Ling Xiao as though a huge rock had fallen to the ground. Although he was confident in Ling Xiao, he also knew that Ren Tianqing was severely injured. Although he was smiling on the surface, he was more worried about Ren Tianqing's injuries than anyone else. Now that he had received confirmation from Ling Xiao, Old Wu could not help but tear up as well. Young Master Ling, you're my benefactor from now on. Please accept my bow too. Young Master Ling, my life is yours from now on. Me too. Many of the escorts looked emotional as they bowed deeply towards Ling Xiao. Old Wu, what are you all doing? Get up quickly. The head of escorts is my benefactor. It's only right that I save him. Ling Xiao quickly helped Old Wu up and smiled bitterly at the crowd. Ling Xiao. Thank you. Ren Qingluo also said seriously. Her pretty face revealed a trace of a brilliant smile, which was very beautiful. Everyone, don't worry. As long as I'm here, nothing will happen to the Heaven Escort Agency. I want to see who dares to say that they'll destroy the entire Heaven Escort Agency. Everyone, rest well today. There's a good show to watch tomorrow. Ling Xiao smiled coldly. Brother Ling Xiao is right. Those bastards from the Huwei Escort Agency, Old Wu will chop off their heads tomorrow to avenge our dead brothers. Old Wu raised the mountain-splitting axe in his hand with a murderous look in his eyes. Revenge. With young Master Ling around, those bastards from the Huwei Escort Agency will definitely die. The morale of the escorts was also very high. Their eyes were filled with excitement. Ren Qingluo looked at Ling Xiao's domineering figure, and her eyes shone brightly. Brother Ling Xiao, you're back. That's great. A crisp voice was heard. You, was wearing a white dress and looked like a porcelain doll. Her face was filled with excitement as she pounced on Ling Xiao. Hearing that Ling Xiao had returned, Yu had just woken up from her sleep and ran over excitedly. You, Brother Ling Xiao is back. Did you miss me? Ling Xiao carried you, and a hint of a smile appeared in his eyes. I miss Big Brother Ling Xiao every day. Big Brother Ling Xiao, Daddy was injured by bad people. Will you help us beat them up? You, blinked her large eyes, her eyes filled with anticipation. You, don't worry. None of those bad guys will be able to escape. Ling Xiao nodded and said solemnly. The sky gradually darkened. The Heaven Escort Agency was brightly lit. Because the head escort had recovered from his injuries, and because of Ling Xiao's arrival, all the escorts seemed to have found their backbone. Their high morale had returned. In the Heavenly Escort Agency, a bonfire was blazing, and plates of rare delicacies were being served. Everyone was toasting each other, and their faces were brimming with happiness. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, became the center of attention for everyone. Every escort would come forward to offer a toast to Ling Xiao, their eyes filled with respect. Ren Tianqing was usually very kind to his subordinates. He was highly respected and loved by all the escorts. Therefore, even though the Heaven Escort Agency had encountered an extremely serious crisis this time, no one was willing to leave. They all held the belief that they would live and die with the Heaven Escort Agency. Ling Xiao had healed Ren Tianqing and naturally won the respect of countless escorts. As for the escorts who had gone through thick and thin with Ling Xiao in the fearsome Beast Mountain Range, with Old Wu as their leader, they naturally would not let Ling Xiao go. Cup after cup of wine was poured down Ling Xiao's throat. However, in the end, not only did they not get Ling Xiao drunk, but Old Wu and the other escorts were all dead drunk. They sprawled on the table and fell asleep. As the banquet was coming to an end, Ling Xiao returned to his room and prepared to rest. With the heaven-devouring secret skill, even poison could be neutralized by Ling Xiao, let alone wine. To Ling Xiao, this wine was nothing. However, Ling Xiao liked this group of forthright men, so he did not use the heaven-devouring secret skill to neutralize the alcohol. In the end, he was a little tipsy. The full moon shone with a cold light. Ling Xiao was about to lie down and rest when he heard a knock on the door. "Who is it?" Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. He did not know who would be looking for him at such a late hour. Creak. Ling Xiao opened the door and saw a beautiful figure standing outside. Ren Qingluo. She was wearing a white robe and bathed in the moonlight. Her skin was as clear as jade and she exuded a faint blush. Her long black hair was like satin, thick and glossy. There was also a faint fragrance of a young girl. Ren Qingluo's cheeks were slightly red. She looked delicate and charming. Her figure was graceful and she exuded a seductive aura. "Miss Qingluo? It's so late. What can I do for you?" Ling Xiao's muddle-headed mind cleared up a little. He praised Ren Qingluo in his heart. This Ren Qingluo indeed had a unique charm. "Young Master Ling, I saw that your clothes were a little old, so I brought a change of clothes for you." Ren Qingluo smiled faintly, revealing a charming aura. In her hand was a set of neatly folded white robes. "Thank you for your kindness, Miss Qingluo." Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. Then, he smiled and received it. Then, there was a moment of silence. The air seemed to be filled with a different aura. The moonlight shone down on Ren Qingluo's delicate face. "Young Master Ling, aren't you going to invite me in?" Ren Qingluo seemed to have gathered her courage and asked with a red face. "Ah. Oh, please come in, Miss Qingluo." Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a strange look as he invited Ren Qingluo into the house. "Young Master Ling, the people from the Huwei escort agency will be here tomorrow. 3 days ago, Wang Wei's younger brother, Wang Hu, came back with a very evil-looking young grandmaster. They came to our heavenly escort agency to denounce us. Father naturally couldn't admit that we had something to do with Wang Wei's death, so a fight was inevitable." Ren Qingluo said softly, a weak look in her eyes. 3 days ago, Wang Wei's younger brother, Wang Hu, came back with a very evil-looking young grandmaster. Who could have thought that young Zongshi master would be able to defeat my father with just a single blow, severely injuring him. Furthermore, he even issued a 3-day ultimatum for my father to commit suicide and hand me and my younger sister over to them. Otherwise, the heavenly escort agency will not be spared. Ren Qingluo's voice was trembling. It was only now that people saw the weak side of her under her stubborn appearance. "I originally thought that perhaps the heavenly escort agency would be finished. These 3 days, I was scared, terrified, and angry. I even wanted to fight that young grandmaster to the death. But I don't know why, but I always believed that you would come and solve all the problems." Chapter 139. You really came. You healed my father's injuries and brought hope to the entire Heaven Escort Agency. But that young grandmaster is too strong. I have never seen such a strange and powerful person. With just one move, he seriously injured my father. Young Master Ling, you are very mysterious and powerful, but I don't know if you can defeat him. The girl's voice was very soft, with a trace of expectation, as well as a trace of apprehension and fear towards the unknown. Ling Xiao was very calm, and then he said, "I will win." It was just 3 words, but it seemed to have infinite magic. Ren Qingluo's uneasy heart began to calm down, and a bright smile appeared on her face. "Yes, you will win. I shouldn't have doubted you. From the very beginning, your appearance was one miracle after another." Ren Qingluo smiled slightly and said, "In the fearsome beast mountain range, when everyone was in despair, it was you who secretly took action and killed the powerful demonic beasts. It was also you who killed Wang Wei and the experts of the Tiger Escort Agency, and saved everyone in the Heaven Escort Agency. And now, you're about to go into danger and help us once again. I really don't know how to repay your kindness to us. Miss Qingluo, you are too polite. If you didn't save me in the fearsome beast mountain range, I'm afraid I would have been buried in the stomach of the demonic beasts. It's natural for me to save you. You really don't have to feel uneasy. Ling Xiao smiled slightly, and a touch of indifferent sharpness appeared in his eyes. Moreover, tomorrow's battle is nothing. If I say I will win, I will definitely win. Ling Xiao's voice was filled with strong confidence and determination. Yes, you will definitely win. But the kindness you have shown to the Heaven Escort Agency, the kindness you have shown to us, father and daughter, is something I will never be able to repay in my lifetime. Ren Qingluo looked at Ling Xiao's calm face, and suddenly took a deep breath, as if she had made an important decision. Her slender jade-like hand pulled the jade belt on her waist, and suddenly, the robe on her body slipped down, revealing a flawless and delicate body. Just like that, she appeared naked in front of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's face stiffened, and he suddenly revealed a dumbfounded expression. He didn't expect Ren Qingluo to be wearing nothing under her white robe. What he did not expect was that Ren Qingluo was going to throw herself into his arms. Ren Qingluo's figure was tall and slender. Her skin was as white as jade, like silk that emitted a sparkling and translucent luster. Her saintess breasts were towering, her lower abdomen was flat, her waist was slender, and her thighs were round and straight. Just looking at her made one's blood boil. It was too tempting. Even Ling Xiao had a slight reaction at this moment, a nefarious fire rising in his heart. Cough cough. Miss Qingluo, you don't have to do this. I'm willing to help you, not only because I want to repay you for saving my life, but also because I like the Heavenly Escort Agency. Moreover, I'm the one who caused this trouble, so I should be the one to solve it. Quickly put on your clothes. Ling Xiao shifted his gaze away with difficulty and coughed lightly as he spoke. Young Master Ling, could it be that you despise Qingluo for being cheap? Qingluo has no way of repaying young Master Ling's kindness, so I can only resort to this. Ren Qingluo's body trembled slightly, and her eyes turned red. Her long eyelashes fluttered, as if there were sparkling tears falling down. However, she didn't put on her clothes. Instead, she bravely took a step forward and hugged Ling Xiao. Her delicate body was soft and smooth, and her slender arms wrapped around Ling Xiao's neck. Her saintess peak was tightly pressed against Ling Xiao's chest. This kind of temptation made little Ling Xiao straighten up instantly. Ren Qingluo felt the strange object in her lower body, and instantly understood. Her face turned red as if it was on fire, and she buried her face deep into Ling Xiao's chest. Ren Qingluo even closed her eyes, and the way she looked, as if she was waiting for him to do whatever he wanted, had an unparalleled allure to men. This is really tempting me to commit a crime. Ling Xiao laughed and cried in his heart. He took a deep breath, and his eyes regained their clarity in an instant. Ling Xiao grabbed the white robe on the ground, and with a shake, covered Ren Qingluo's alluring body. Miss Qingluo, with such a beautiful woman sending herself to my doorstep, I'm afraid no man wouldn't be tempted. Naturally, I'm the same. However, if I take advantage of your situation, what's the difference between me and that young evolved Jing master who covets you? No matter how unbearable I am, I won't do such a thing. Ling Xiao laughed bitterly and said, Miss Qingluo, you really don't have to do this. You really don't have to repay anything. Your life-saving grace is greater than the heavens. No matter what I do, it's nothing. Ren Qingluo's eyes revealed a trace of relief, but there was also a trace of disappointment that disappeared in a flash. Young Master Ling, thank you. Ren Qingluo smiled brightly. Then, a fragrant wind blew in his face. Before Ling Xiao could react, he felt soft lips on his own. Immediately after, Ren Qingluo blushed. She didn't dare to look at Ling Xiao, and immediately turned to leave the room, fleeing. Looking at Ren Qingluo's departing figure, Ling Xiao laughed bitterly and shook his head. The next morning, the warm sunlight passed through the window and shone on Ling Xiao's delicate face. Ling Xiao also woke up. It had been a long time since he had slept so comfortably like this. To Ling Xiao, other than cultivating his martial arts, it was meditating to cultivate his qi. He rarely slept at night, and as long as he meditated, he would be full of energy the next day. However, not thinking about anything and sleeping until dawn like an ordinary person was also very different to Ling Xiao. He felt that his mental strength seemed to be enveloped in a layer of warm light, and his state of mind became much more open. This feeling was very good. Ling Xiao walked into the courtyard and slowly practiced a set of longevity fist. His punches were like the branches of an old tree, slow and unsophisticated. However, there were faint ripples in the air, and it was very mysterious. After finishing a set of longevity fist, Ling Xiao's body was covered in white mist, and his bones and tendons sounded at the same time, exploding with a thunderous sound. Whoosh! A stream of white gas was spat out from Ling Xiao's mouth, like an arrow, shooting more than 10 feet away before it slowly dissipated. Ling Xiao's body was full of energy, and his eyes were clear. His qi and blood were surging like an ancient ferocious beast, and then they slowly retracted. In the end, Ling Xiao returned to being a delicate young man, and not a trace of qi was released from his body. Creak! The courtyard door was pushed open, and Ren Qinglue walked in holding Yu Er's hand. She held a green tray in one hand, and on it was a bowl of fragrant millet porridge and 3 or 4 green side dishes. It looked very appetizing. Ren Qinglue's bright eyes looked at Ling Xiao, and there was still a trace of redness on her charming face. After placing the tray on the stone table in the courtyard, she poured a basin of steaming hot water for Ling Xiao to wash his face, and handed him a snow-white towel. She was like a docile little wife waiting on her man, causing Ling Xiao to stare blankly at her. That's all I can do. Quickly wash your face and have a taste of my cooking. Ren Qinglue's charming face was red, and she said softly. That's right, brother Ling Xiao. Sister woke up very early to make delicious food for you, and she didn't even let me eat it. Quickly come and try it. Yu blinked her big eyes, and drooled as she looked at the side dishes on the tray. You talk too much. Ren Qingluo patted Yu Er's little head, and her face became even redder. All right, I'll try Miss Qingluo's cooking. Chapter 140. The porridge was extremely fragrant, and the side dishes were refreshing. Ling Xiao ate comfortably as a warm current flowed through his body. Ren Qingluo watched Ling Xiao eat. Her eyelashes flickered, revealing a gentle glow. Just like a wife serving her husband. Ren Qingluo was startled by this thought in her heart, and her beautiful face was covered with a layer of red. Yu also ate happily. The small courtyard was filled with a warm atmosphere. However, this warmth didn't last long. Bang! The door to the courtyard was pushed open, and Old Wu and the others walked in. They were all dressed in black, and they had weapons in their hands. Their expressions were grave. Brother Ling Xiao, the people from Huwei Martial Arts School have surrounded the Sky Escort Agency. Wang Hu and the young Grandmaster are here. Old Wu's voice was filled with anger and killing intent. His aura surged as if he was going to kill someone at any time. Ren Qingluo and Yu Er's faces turned pale instantly. Especially the words young Grandmaster. It was a nightmare for them. They would never forget that the powerful Ren Tianqing couldn't even withstand a single blow from the young Grandmaster. They're all here. Very good. I don't have to look for them anymore. Let them stay. Ling Xiao said calmly as he stood up. There was a sharp glow in his eyes, and his body exuded a powerful and domineering aura. Young Master Ling is right. Today, we'll make those bastards pay with their blood. They'll pay with their blood. Old Wu and the others looked excited as they escorted Ling Xiao out of the escort agency. Ren Qingluo and Yu were also affected by Ling Xiao's words. The paleness on their faces faded, and an inexplicable confidence rose in their hearts. They followed closely behind. Outside the Sky Escort Agency, Ren Tianqing's face was thin, and his eyes were burning. He held a heavy sword in his hand as he looked at the group of white-robed men opposite him. Although he had just recovered from his injuries, and his cultivation hadn't fully recovered, Ren Tianqing stood there with an imposing aura. None of the white-robed men dared to take a step forward. Ren Tianqing, you've recovered from your injuries? The white-robed men separated, and a young man wearing a brocade robe walked out. He was tall and slender, and his face was handsome. However, his lips were very thin, and he looked a bit mean. His eyes flashed with a cold light. He raised his chin slightly and looked at Ren Tianqing indifferently with a condescending arrogance. Beside him was a burly man in a black robe. He was tall and sturdy, with a fierce face and a flattering smile on his face. The black-robed man was Wang Hu, and the brocade-robed young man was the young grandmaster that old Wu and the others had mentioned. The young master looked at Ren Tianqing with a hint of surprise in his eyes. 3 days ago, he had severely injured Ren Tianqing with a single palm strike. Naturally, he knew how terrifying his Yin True Qi was. Originally, he thought that even if Ren Tianqing didn't die, he would be on the verge of death. But to their surprise, other than looking a little weak, Ren Tianqing's injuries had already healed. Ren Tianqing, have you made up your mind? If you give your beautiful daughters to young Master Snake and kneel down before the judge, then the Heavenly Escort Agency can still be saved. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die without a burial ground. Wang Hu stared at Ren Tianqing with murderous intent in his eyes. His voice was very cold. Dream on. Ren Tianqing sneered and said, Wang Hu, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for a few years, you've learned to be someone's dog. Even if the entire Heaven Escort Agency dies today, I'll make you pay an unimaginable price. Wang Hu's eyes turned cold, and he said coldly, Old dog Ren, you still dare to be so stubborn. Let me tell you, even if young Master Snake doesn't do anything, I can still kill you. You killed my brother, so I'll take your life today. I'll use your dog life as a sacrifice to my brother's soul in heaven. Wang Hu unsheathed the black battle saber in his hand, and his entire body exuded a violent murderous aura. Although Wang Hu's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, he could feel that Ren Tianqing's aura was very weak. Even if his injuries were healed, he wouldn't be able to use much of his strength. Therefore, a surge of confidence welled up in his heart, and he wanted to fight with Ren Tianqing. With just you? Ren Tianqing sneered and said, Back then, you were reprimanded by the city bishop for molesting a good woman. That was why you left Qinghua City like a stray dog. Even if you become someone's dog, you're still just a dog. Even if my cultivation hasn't recovered, it's still easy to kill you. Ren Tianqing saw through Wang Hu's plan. Wang Hu thought that since his cultivation hadn't recovered, he wanted to use him to establish his authority. However, he was afraid that Wang Hu had miscalculated. Old dog Ren, you're courting death. Wang Hu seemed to have been caught in a sore spot, and his eyes instantly became extremely gloomy. He roared, and a powerful innate qi erupted from his body. The battle saber in his hand cut through the void like lightning, and slashed toward Ren Tianqing's head. Roar! When the saber fell, it was like a ferocious tiger's roar that shook the forest. An extremely powerful and domineering aura burst out, and the shadow of a ferocious tiger faintly formed behind Wang Hu. Ren Tianqing's eyes flashed, and a hint of seriousness appeared in them. He could feel that Wang Hu's saber technique was not ordinary. It had surpassed the black-level martial arts and reached the power of a low-grade earth-level martial arts. The ferocious and monstrous aura rushed toward him, as if a tyrant tiger that could subdue 10,000 beasts and roar the forest was pouncing toward him. 1,000 mountains break. Ren Tianqing didn't dare to be negligent. He slowly raised the heavy sword in his hand, and an unparalleled sharp sword intent spread out, and a dazzling sword aura flashed faintly. The black heavy sword was wrapped in a powerful innate qi, and it swept across the sky as if it was going to cut through 1,000 mountains and destroy 10,000 soldiers with a single sword. Boom! The saber and the sword clashed, and a bright light burst out. Ren Tianqing's blazing true qi suppressed Wang Hu as if he could hold up the world. Wang Hu felt his blood and qi surging, and the tyrant tiger saber qi was instantly shattered. He took more than 10 steps back before he could stabilize himself. How is this possible? Wang Hu's expression changed. Wasn't Ren Tianqing seriously injured? How could he still burst out such a terrifying power? A hint of surprise flashed in the indifferent young guru's eyes. He originally thought that it would be amazing if Ren Tianqing could recover 1/10 of his strength. However, Ren Tianqing's attack actually contains 70 to 80% of the strength of a guru? Who was it that secretly cured Ren Tianqing? The young guru's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. Wang Hu, the power of a guru is not something you can imagine. People like you who are used to being a dog will never be able to comprehend the connection between heaven and man and enter the guru realm. Die! Ren Tianqing sneered, and a trace of burning killing intent appeared in his eyes. Ren Tianqing knew that he was no match for the young guru, but it would be worth it if he could kill Wang Hu. Chapter 141. 10,000 Waves. Powerful spiritual chi surged like waves. It was endless and turned into blazing sword light. As Ren Tianqing's sword fell, it surged toward Wang Hu. I don't believe it. Tyrannical Tiger Saber Technique, Tyrannical Tiger is invincible. Kill him. Wang Hu's expression was extremely ferocious. He roared as the saber in his hand emitted a bright light. The shadow of a fierce tiger appeared behind him. It was more solid than before. Wang Hu slashed down with Ren Tianqing's endless sword aura. The sword aura was like a sea. The tiger condensed from the saber aura rushed into the sea of sword aura. The void shook, and a roar shook the sky. In the end, the tiger was pierced by hundreds of millions of sword aura and turned into nothingness. Boom! A powerful sword aura hit Wang Hu's chest. Wang Hu spat out a mouthful of blood. He flew backward for more than 100 feet and smashed hard on the ground. Kill! Ren Tianqing roared and slashed at Wang Hu with his sword. How dare you kill in front of me? You're courting death. The young master shouted coldly. A trace of cold murderous intent appeared in his eyes. He slammed his palm. Boom! Black divine light surged, and a strange black creature seemed to form behind the young master's back. The creature charged at Ren Tianqing along with the palm. Ren Tianqing's expression changed. He felt an extremely dangerous fluctuation. He couldn't care less about killing Wang Hu. His sword changed and stabbed toward the divine light. Boom! Ren Tianqing's sword aura was destroyed in an instant. The young master's palm covered the sky like a black curtain. It was domineering and cold. It hit the heavy sword directly. Pfft! Ren Tianqing felt a sweet taste in his throat. He spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backward. However, the young grandmaster did not intend to let Ren Tianqing go just like that. Black divine light surged, carrying a kind of cold and evil wave, and crashed toward Ren Tianqing. Head escort. Save the head escort. Kill the bastards from the Huawei escort agency. Many escorts of the Skywalker escort agency turned pale with fright. One after another, they drew their swords and attacked the people of the Huawei escort agency. However, the black divine light had already blasted over. It contained a cold killing intent, and it wanted to kill Ren Tianqing. In the face of this terrifying power, a trace of bitterness appeared on the corners of Ren Tianqing's mouth. A feeling of powerlessness surged out from his heart. He slowly closed his eyes and waited for death. Whoosh! Just then, a blazing sword radiance swept across the sky. It was as brilliant as the sun in the sky, emitting an infinite amount of light. No one could describe the style of that sword, and no one could see the speed of that sword. Everyone only saw a dazzling white light filling the world. The sword intent rose and condensed. It was like a god of the sword, a sword that no longer belonged to the mortal world. The cold and evil black divine light was torn apart in an instant. It traversed through the void and headed straight for the young grandmaster. Who is it? The young master's expression changed, and a terrifying aura filled the air. The black divine light behind him surged again, vaguely turning into a giant snake that could devour the heavens and the earth. It suddenly collided with the sword light. Boom! Intense divine light swept in all directions, and the void trembled slightly. The young Grandmaster's body trembled, and he took 2 steps back. His expression was extremely unpleasant. He focused his gaze and saw a young man in white walking out of the Heaven Escort Agency. The young man was slender, and his face was as clear as jade. His black hair fell down casually, and he looked very casual and unruly. His eyes were as bright as the stars, and there was a faint smile on his lips. Behind the young man was a pair of beautiful young girls, and a group of escorts in black robes with weapons in their hands. Their faces were ferocious. "Who are you? How dare you interfere in my business?" The young Grandmaster looked at Ling Xiao coldly, and there was a trace of seriousness and shock in his eyes. The sword light just now was released by the young man in front of him. The young man's cultivation level was displayed in front of him without any concealment. First level of the Dragon Tiger Realm. A casual strike from a first level of the Dragon Tiger Realm was able to force the young Grandmaster to retreat. This made the young Grandmaster feel both shocked and furious, and his expression became extremely unpleasant. "The person who will kill you," Ling Xiao said indifferently, and his expression was extremely calm. "Kill me?" The young Grandmaster's eyes were cold, and he said with a ferocious expression, "Brat, you really don't know what's good for you. A mere Dragon Tiger Realm ant dares to say such arrogant words? If that's the case, then you and the Heaven Escort Agency will be buried together." The young Grandmaster walked over slowly, and the cold aura around him became stronger and stronger, like a huge wave sweeping in all directions. Behind him, a black divine light rose, and it was as if a ferocious giant snake had appeared, exuding a chilling coldness. "Ling Xiao, be careful. He's very strong. I even suspect that he's from one of those martial arts holy lands," Ren Tianqing said with a serious look. Ling Xiao nodded slightly. Although the young Grandmaster's cultivation level was only first level of the Grandmaster realm, the cold and evil innate True Kong was much stronger than Ren Tianqing's. It was no wonder that he could injure Ren Tianqing with one strike. When Ren Tianqing said that the young Grandmaster was from the martial arts holy lands, Ling Xiao had already guessed it. Now that he saw the young Grandmaster, his guess was mostly confirmed. Ren Qingluo and Yu also grabbed the corners of their clothes tightly, looking at Ling Xiao with a worried look. "You're from the Wanshou sect?" Facing the young Grandmaster's oppressive aura, Ling Xiao's expression remained calm, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. How did you know?" The young Grandmaster's expression changed, and a trace of killing intent appeared in his eyes. This further confirmed Ling Xiao's guess. "You're from the Wanshou sect. How dare you come to my great barren ancient country and behave so atrociously? But I'm curious, why are you in Qinghua City?" Ling Xiao said indifferently, but his heart was slightly moved. Could it be that the Wanshou sect came to the great barren ancient country to investigate the death of Elder Kuan-shi? Other than that, there didn't seem to be any other reason for the Wanshou sect to come all the way to the great barren ancient country. Wanshou sect? Ren Tianqing's body trembled, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. These 3 words seemed to have a demonic nature. Ren Tianqing, Ren Qingluo, Old Wu, and the others' expressions changed drastically. The 5 great martial arts holy lands of the 8 Desolates region were well known. The Wanshou sect was one of the 5 great martial arts holy lands. Just like the Sun Moon Star sect, they stood at the peak of the 8 Desolates region. It was said that any disciple from the martial arts holy lands would have unparalleled strength. It was no wonder that the young Grandmaster was able to injure Ren Tianqing with one strike. Chapter 142. Kid, how did you know I'm from the Wanshou sect? Everyone who knows my identity must die. The young Grandmaster looked at Wang Hu suspiciously. Wang Hu shivered and quickly said, "Young Master Snake, it really wasn't me. How would I dare to reveal your identity?" Perhaps, this brat guessed your identity from your martial arts. As long as we kill everyone here, your identity won't be exposed. Idiot. Ling Xiao sneered. He did not hide the mockery in his eyes. So what if you're from the Wanshou sect? Anyone who dares to mess with me must die. If the Wanshou sect is made up of scum like you who bully the weak and kidnap women, then the Wanshou sect doesn't need to exist anymore. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold. He did not like the Wanshou sect at all. You're courting death. The young guru's expression turned cold, and his killing intent erupted without any concealment. He glared at Ling Xiao and said, "Brat, go ahead and talk. Later, I will personally crush all the bones in your body and make you beg for death." He was very unhappy with Ling Xiao. Everyone looked at him with respect. Even Ren Tianqing and the others were terrified when they found out he was a disciple of the Wanshou sect. Only this strange young man looked calm as if he did not care about him at all. The young Grandmaster's murderous intent grew stronger and stronger. "Cut the crap, let's fight." Ling Xiao sneered. He had a feeling that this Wanshou sect disciple's appearance here had a lot to do with Elder Kun Shi who died in the Changshan sect. Ling Xiao had to capture him and interrogate him. He had to pry the Wanshou sect's intentions from him so that he could deal with the situation better. Therefore, to Ling Xiao, this young Grandmaster was already a dead man. "What an arrogant kid, I'd like to see if your combat strength is better than your mouth. Die." The young Grandmaster's murderous intent grew stronger and stronger. As soon as he finished speaking, he slapped Ling Xiao with his palm. Boom! Black divine light crisscrossed, as if turning the day into night. A gloomy and evil aura burst out. The young master's palm swept across the sky, as if it had turned into a giant snake that could swallow the sky and the sun, swallowing Ling Xiao. Young Master Snake actually used the sky snake palm. Looks like this brat is dead for sure. Wang Hu's eyes widened. The sky snake palm was a low-grade earth realm martial art. It was one of the strongest trump cards of a young grandmaster. 3 days ago, Tian Xing had been severely injured by the sky snake palm. Ling Xiao, this sky snake palm is extremely cold and sinister. You must be careful. A hint of worry flashed through Ren Tianqing's eyes. Now that he had fully recovered from his injuries, he still felt that he had no power to resist this palm. Heavenly snake concept. Let's see if your sky snake can swallow my Vajra. Vajra subduing devil fist, kill. Ling Xiao said indifferently with a sharp glint in his eyes. Boom! Dazzling golden light exploded from Ling Xiao's body. He threw out a punch, lightning flashed, and golden light filled the sky. It was as if a Vajra had descended from the 9 heavens, carrying with it a monstrous divine power. This is the Vajra subduing devil fist. How do you know the Vajra subduing devil fist? The young grandmaster's expression changed, revealing an incomparably shocked expression. It was even more shocking than when Ling Xiao had revealed his identity. Boom! Golden light filled the sky, and black light surged. The two dazzling divine lights collided, stirring up an incomparably terrifying divine light storm that swept out in all directions. The surrounding people's expressions changed drastically, and they hurriedly retreated. Ling Xiao was like an undefeatable Vajra. Golden light surrounded his body, and his qi and blood surged to the sky. He stood there unmoving. That incomparably cold and sinister sky snake palm was actually shattered by Ling Xiao's punch, and the black evil aura was swept away. Crack! The young grandmaster's arm made a crisp sound, and he spat out a mouthful of blood as he flew backward. How is this possible? The Vajra subduing devil fist is the peerless martial art of the Wanshou sect. Only true disciples can practice it. Even I am not qualified. How do you know the Vajra subduing devil fist? Who the hell are you? The young grandmaster's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with disbelief as he stared at Ling Xiao. The martial art of the Wanshou sect. The Vajra subduing devil fist is the martial art of the Changshan sect. When did it become the Wanshou sect's martial art? The Wan Shou sect is just a bunch of bandits. Ling Zhao's eyebrows twitched, and he immediately understood. In the battle 500 years ago, although Daoist Tianfeng tried his best to preserve some of the martial arts, many of them were still stolen by the Wan Shou sect. The Vajra-subduing devil fist was one of them. No wonder the young grandmaster recognized the Vajra-subduing devil fist at a glance, and was so shocked. Brother Ling Xiao, you broke the sky snake palm so easily. Old Wu was stunned, and his eyes were filled with shock. Ren Tianqing, Ren Qingluo, and the others were also surprised and happy. Although they were full of confidence in Ling Xiao, the young grandmaster was too strong, and he gave off an almost invincible feeling. But in the blink of an eye, Ling Xiao had suppressed him with a single punch. This huge contrast left everyone dumbfounded. You're from the Changsun sect. The young grandmaster's expression changed, but he immediately denied it. Impossible, the Changsun sect is in decline now, and there are only a few strong people in the sect. The Vajra-subduing devil fist has long been lost, so you can't be a disciple of the Changsun sect. Could you be a disciple of the Sun Moon Stars sect? Waves of emotions surged in his heart as he looked at Ling Xiao with a solemn expression. The punch just now was as mighty as the heavens, and it directly broke his sky snake palm. But Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the first level of the dragon-tiger realm, so how could he explode with such terrifying physical strength? Moreover, the young grandmaster felt that he was not fighting with a young man, but an archaean ferocious beast. Ling Xiao's physical strength was too strong. Although the punch was the Vajra-subduing devil fist's fist intent, it was more of Ling Xiao's physical strength. The surging qi and blood seemed to be able to tear the sky apart. Ling Xiao did not deny it, nor did he admit it. He sneered and said, "Die." Boom! The golden fist aura rose again, and there were streaks of lightning in the void. Ling Xiao's qi and blood surged like lightning, and he threw a punch at the young grandmaster. "Little bastard, do you really think I'm afraid of you? You're only at the first level of the dragon-tiger realm, so how many punches can you make? You forced me to do this, you forced me to do this." The young grandmaster shouted at the top of his lungs, and his face was extremely ferocious. Swoosh! A strange, curved sword appeared in his hand. It gave off a boundless, cold, baleful aura. With a gentle shake, it gave off a sword light that could slice through space. This was an extremely powerful treasure, and it emitted a bright light and a buzzing sound. "Brat, it's your fortune to be able to die under the sky snake sword." The young grandmaster sneered, and the sky snake sword in his hand was covered by his powerful innate true Kong, and he slashed at Ling Xiao. "It's actually an upper-grade treasure." Chapter 143. The sky snake sword in the young grandmaster's hand emitted a dazzling light, causing his aura to skyrocket. The sword radiance was dazzling as it pierced through the void, as if it could pierce through everything. Only an upper-grade artifact could achieve such sharpness. In the Changsun sect, only Nangong Xian had an inferior-grade artifact, and it was already considered the sect's most precious artifact. An artifact's boost to one's cultivation was terrifying. Usually, only grandmasters or even celestial realm experts could unleash the power of an artifact. The young grandmaster's cultivation increased by at least 2 or 3 levels when he wielded an upper-grade artifact like the sky snake sword. Ren Tianqing's eyes were filled with worry. Could Ling Xiao block the power of this sword? The power of an upper-grade artifact? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he felt a strong pressure. An upper-grade artifact's sharpness was unparalleled. After being infused with Xiantian energy, it could even cut through gold and jade, releasing a powerful sword aura. What's more, what the young grandmaster used was also a powerful earth-level sword art martial art. Infinite light, infinite darkness. Ling Xiao slowly closed his eyes, his heart as calm as an ancient well. The evil-slaying ancient sword was like a dazzling meteor. In an instant, it shone brightly, illuminating heaven and earth. Even the light of the sun was overshadowed at this moment. With a flash of the sword radiance, the light that filled the sky suddenly turned into nothingness. It was as if the sky was covered in darkness. Such a strange scene appeared between the heavens and the earth. Immeasurably bright sword light and immeasurable darkness intertwined, turning into a mysterious sword aura that suddenly exploded. What? The young Grandmaster's expression changed drastically. Ling Xiao, who was originally as weak as an ant in his eyes, seemed to have turned into a primordial ferocious beast, opening its bloody mouth. The boundless light and darkness instantly enveloped the sky snake sword. Boom! The lightning was dazzling, as if it was going to cut through the void. The sky snake sword's shadow suddenly exploded. The power of extreme yin and yang intertwined, and the sword aura of endless light and darkness surged, all rushing into the young Grandmaster's body. Boom! He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood as if he had been struck by lightning. The heavenly serpent sword in his hand emitted a clanging sound and flew out. The young Grand Master was like a meteor as he crashed into the ground, leaving behind a huge human-shaped crater. When the light dissipated, everyone's dumbfounded faces were revealed. This was especially true for Ren Tianqing, Old Wu, and the others. They felt as if their eyes were playing tricks on them. The scene of boundless light and boundless darkness traversing the world would forever remain in their hearts. With one strike, the world turned cold. Cough cough, the young Grand Master coughed violently and spat out blood. His face was extremely pale as he struggled to stand up. His eyes were filled with disbelief and fear. The infinite light and darkness sword of the Sun Luna sect. Are you really from the Sun Moon Star sect? Impossible. Impossible. How could the Sun Moon Star sect have such a monstrous talent? The young evolved Jing Master's hair was disheveled and his body was trembling. There was a hint of fear in his eyes. It was only now that he was finally afraid. Although the young man in front of him was only at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm, the terrifying combat strength that he unleashed made him tremble in fear. The infinite light and darkness sword of the Sun Moon Star sect. Ling Xiao rubbed his nose. Based on the relationship between the Sun Moon Star sect and the Changsun sect, it was understandable that the Changsun sect had the infinite light and darkness sword. This would prove that he was related to the Sun Moon Star sect. However, Ling Xiao was too lazy to explain and let the Sun Moon Star sect be the scapegoat. With a flash of light, the Evil Slayer ancient sword was placed on the young Grand Master's neck. He was so frightened that his face turned pale again. What are you doing? Let me tell you. My brother is the true disciple, Shi Wuhan. He has the bloodline of the heavenly serpent. If you dare to kill me, he will definitely make you die a horrible death. The young Grand Master was trembling in fear as he spoke to Ling Xiao in a threatening manner. True disciple, Shi Wuhan. So what? Could it be that he really dares to kill his way into the Sun Moon Star sect? Ling Xiao sneered as his eyes were filled with mockery. Brother Ling Xiao, are you really a disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect? Ren Tianqing and Old Wu were both shocked and enlightened. Only a martial arts holy land like the Sun Moon Star sect could cultivate such a monstrous genius like Ling Xiao. However, Ren Qingluo's eyes dimmed slightly. A genius disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect, how prominent was that? The gap between the two of them was really too big. What are you trying to do? The young Grand Master was about to cry. He felt that Ling Xiao really wanted to kill him. He was really unlucky to have met such a fearless young man. However, he was really afraid of death. So when he saw that his threats were ineffective, he was so frightened that his face turned pale. What's your name? Why are you in Qinghua City? Ling Xiao said indifferently. The Evil Slayer ancient sword in his hand was swallowing a sharp light as if he would immediately kill the young Grand Master if he dared to say no. My name is Shi Wuxin. I'm an inner disciple of the Wanshou sect. 2 months ago, Elder Kun Shi's life jade shattered, which shocked the Wanshou sect. The sect master sent 2 guardian elders to investigate the cause of Elder Kun Shi's death. Shi Wuxin was so frightened that his body trembled. he immediately told the truth. Following Shi Wuxin's narration, Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a strange light. It was really related to Elder Kun Shi's death. Ling Zhao naturally knew that a heaven-tier elite like Kun Shi would definitely leave behind a life token in the sect. Ling Zhao had risked his life to kill him back then because he was betting that Kun Shi would come to the longevity sect secretly. Now that he heard Shi Wuxin's explanation, he had indeed made the right bet. After the Wanshou sect knew that Elder Kun Shi's life jade shattered, they sent 2 elders to the Sun Moon Star sect and the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom respectively. However, the Wanshou sect also knew that the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom was backed by the Sun Moon Star sect. So, they sent Elder He Qing to the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom secretly. On the other hand, Shi Wuxin, Shi Wuhan, and many other disciples followed Elder He Qing to the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. Nominally, it was a martial arts exchange and cultivation exchange. Wang Hu was Shi Wuxin's confidant. He left home more than 10 years ago and entered the Wanshou sect by chance. This time, he wanted to return to Qinghua City to take a look. Out of curiosity, Shi Wuxin followed him. Unexpectedly, when Wang Hu returned to Qinghua City, he heard that the Mighty Tiger Escort Agency was disbanded and that Ren Tianqing had taken over all the territories of the agency. He was furious and wanted to seek revenge. That was how the subsequent events happened. Chapter 144. Plucking yin to replenish yang. Ren Qingluo turned pale with fright when she heard those words. Only the clueless Yuer was still staring with her innocent eyes. This bastard deserves to die. Ren Tianqing, Old Wu, and the rest were filled with righteous indignation. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent. At the same time, they felt a lingering fear in their hearts. Fortunately, Ling Zhao had arrived in time. Otherwise, if Ren Qingluo and Yuer had fallen into Shi Wuxin's mouth, their fates would have been incomparably miserable. Ren Tianqing shuddered at the thought, and the coldness in his eyes became even more intense. Sensing the murderous intent in everyone's eyes, Shi Wuxin was so frightened that he hurriedly said, "I've told you everything. I didn't do anything to them. Young hero, please treat me like a fart and let me go. I promise I won't dare to do it again." Shi Wuxin fell to his knees in front of Ling Zhao and hurriedly kowtowed. However, when he lowered his eyes, there was a trace of resentment and cold murderous intent in them. As long as he could survive this and find his brother, all of these people would die. Especially Ling Zhao. He must make him beg for death. Are you thinking that as long as I let you go, you'll find your brother and kill all of us? Ling Zhao's gaze was indifferent as if he had seen through Shi Wuxin's thoughts. Shi Wuxin was so frightened that his entire body trembled. He hurriedly squeezed out a smile and said, "How could that be? As long as you let me go, I'll immediately scram back to the Wanshou sect to reflect on my mistakes and never come to the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom again. I can swear to the heavens. Ling Zhao, you mustn't let him go. If this bastard doesn't die, all of us will be in great trouble." Ren Tianqing hurriedly said, afraid that Ling Zhao would soften his heart and let Shi Wuxin go. "That's right. Brother Ling Zhao, this bastard is worse than a pig or a dog. I didn't expect the Wanshou sect to be filled with such trash. What kind of holy land is it? I think it's a demon. Kill him. Kill him." Everyone was agitated. At this moment, they seemed to have forgotten Shi Wuxin's identity and were all shouting that they wanted to kill him. "Qi!" Ling Zhao pointed his finger, and an invisible qi sword shot out, instantly piercing Shi Wuxin's Dantian qi si. "Pfft! You actually destroyed my cultivation. Ah! I'll kill you." Shi Wuxin suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Her face instantly paled. Her eyes were filled with incomparable terror and hatred. She struggled to get up, wanting to fight Ling Zhao to the death. Slap! Ling Zhao's slap immediately sent Shi Wuxin flying over 100 meters away. She crashed heavily in front of Ren Tianqing and the others. When Ren Tianqing and the others saw Shi Wuxin, their eyes instantly turned red. Kill him. Many armed escorts pounced on Shi Wuxin with red eyes, throwing punches and kicks at her. 3 days ago, not only had Ren Tianqing been seriously injured by Shi Wuxin, even Wu Duo had been killed by him. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes blaze with hatred. Everyone's head was filled with hatred, and they fiercely greeted Shi Wuxin. Even though Shi Wuxin's physical body was very strong, her cultivation was now crippled and she was seriously injured. Not long after, she was beaten to the point where she was on the verge of death, unable to speak clearly. All of you, wait, for me. Whoosh! The black sword in Ren Tianqing's hand flashed, reflecting the murderous intent in his eyes. He was about to strike. Bang! Ling Xiao moved and appeared in front of Ren Tianqing. He caught the sword in Ren Tianqing's hand with 2 fingers. Head escort, how can you dirty your hands with a beast like this? Leave it to me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Ignoring the fear in Shi Wuxin's eyes, a sword radiance flashed from his palm and chopped off Shi Wuxin's head. Boom! A dazzling 5-colored flame appeared in Ling Xiao's hand. It was the devouring true fire, the strongest flame formed after the devouring spirit seed was perfected. The devouring true fire landed on Shi Wuxin's body and turned him into a pile of ashes. Thank you, Ling Xiao. Ren Tianqing's eyes were filled with gratitude. He knew Ling Xiao's intention. Shi Wuxin was an extraordinary person. If he died in Ren Tianqing's hands, it would bring disaster to them. Therefore, Ling Xiao took the initiative to kill Shi Wuxin after letting everyone vent their anger. He took the blame for the Heaven Escort Agency. You're too kind, head escort. I was the one who caused this trouble. Don't worry. Now that Shi Wuxin is dead, I'll be heading to the capital city soon. I'll take care of the Wan Shou sect then. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes shone with a dazzling light. What are you talking about, brother Ling Xiao? If you hadn't killed Wang Wei, we would have died in the fearsome Beast Mountain range. We've been indebted to you time and time again. Do you know how we can repay you? Please accept a bow from me. Old Wu's eyes were solemn. He knelt down and bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, accept a bow from me. Me too. We will never forget Ling Xiao's kindness. The escorts of the Heaven Escort Agency knelt down in front of Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with gratitude. Everyone, please get up. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A powerful genuine qi emanated from his body and lifted everyone up. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts. They could feel Ling Xiao's strength even more now. Ren Tianqing sighed. If he hadn't been kind enough to save Ling Xiao in the fearsome Beast Mountain, Ling Xiao wouldn't have helped the Heaven Escort Agency. It seemed like this peck and drink was predestined by the heavens. Ren Tianqing's eyes shone with a hint of enlightenment. Under the guidance of his qi, there were signs of a breakthrough. Congratulations, head escort. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he smiled faintly. Ha ha ha. This is all thanks to you, Ling Xiao. Today, we'll drink until we're drunk. We haven't treated you properly since we arrived at Qinghua City. Ren Tianqing's eyes shone with joy. He had been stuck at level 1 of the Grandmaster realm for so long. Now that he felt the fluctuations of a breakthrough, he was very excited. Are you really a disciple of the Sun Luna Star sect? Ren Qingluo came forward. Her delicate fragrance lingered in the air. Her eyes were filled with curiosity. I do have some connections with the Sun Luna Star sect. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said vaguely. However, when Ren Qingluo heard it, her eyes dimmed. Ling Xiao was indeed a disciple of the Sun Luna Star sect. Head escort, Miss Qingluo, I still have important matters to attend to. I'm afraid I can't stay in Qinghua City for long. Ling Xiao looked at Ren Tianqing and Ren Qingluo and said with a smile. He was about to leave. Ling Xiao estimated that there were only a few days left before the Demon King Mansion's year-end competition. Chapter 145. What? You're leaving? Ren Tianqing's expression changed as he hurriedly said, Ling Xiao, why don't you stay in Qinghua City for a few more days? So that I can play host to you. Hearing that Ling Xiao was leaving, Ren Qingluo's body swayed and her face turned pale. Brother Ling Xiao, don't go, okay? You, can't bear to part with you. You, also ran over and hugged Ling Xiao's leg with a face full of reluctance. Head escort, Ling Xiao is indeed busy and can't stay for long. However, if there's a chance in the future, I'll come to Qinghua City to visit everyone. Ling Xiao smiled and hugged you, Good you, Qinghua City isn't far from the capital. Brother Ling Xiao will come to visit you often in the future. Alright then, Brother Ling Xiao, please don't forget about you, You nodded her head sensibly. Her beautiful big eyes were filled with longing. Seeing that Ling Xiao had made up his mind, Ren Tianqing looked regretful and did not continue to persuade him. Since that's the case, we won't keep you. In the future, as long as you say the word, even if it's a mountain of swords or a sea of fire, we'll do it for you. That's right, Brother Ling Xiao. Next time, Old Wu will definitely drink you until you're drunk. Old Wu and the rest were reluctant to part and bid farewell to Ling Xiao. Whoosh! A light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand and 2 ancient books and a white jade bottle flew to Ren Tianqing. At the same time, Ling Xiao's voice sounded, Head escort, these 2 books are my parting gift. The 2 spiritual pills in the jade bottle are for Miss Qing Luo and you, After speaking, Ling Xiao did not wait for Ren Tianqing to reject him. He smiled at everyone and turned to leave Qinghua City. Everyone, we'll meet again. Ling Xiao's hearty laughter could be heard as his slender figure gradually disappeared into the distance under the bright and beautiful sunlight. Ren Qingluo looked at Ling Xiao's departing figure and her eyes seemed to be in a daze. Unknowingly, Ren Tianqing had walked up to her and sighed softly. Qingluo, young Master Ling Xiao is not someone from the same world as us. He's an eagle in the sky, a dragon in the raging sea. His journey is the sea of stars. Other than the peak of martial arts, there's nothing that can stop him. You, better forget about him. As a father, how could Ren Tianqing not understand Ren Qingluo's feelings? However, he also knew that Ling Xiao wasn't an ordinary person. Even if they had only met for a short time, it was impossible for them to stay together forever. Father. I know. Ren Qingluo said softly. Her face was somewhat pale, and her eyes revealed a heart-wrenching and pitiful light. Sky fretting sword art and flowing cloud flying crane fist. All of them are earth-grade peerless martial arts. Ren Tianqing's voice suddenly became extremely shocked. He originally thought that the martial arts that Ling Xiao gave him would be very precious, but he didn't expect it to be so precious. Even in the martial Dao Holy Lands, only true disciples were qualified to practice Earth-class peerless martial arts. Even the Great Desolation ancient nation did not have many Earth-class peerless martial arts. Ling Xiao took out 2 books in one go. The sky-traversing sword art was incomparably murderous. Its sword-intent sword, and with the momentum of heaven and earth, it condensed the sky-traversing sword intent. If demons blocked its path, it would slay demons. If demons blocked its path, it would slay demons. It was incomparably powerful. On the other hand, the flowing cloud-flying crane fist was small and exquisite. It was a supreme fist technique that cleansed the internal organs and tempered the body. With these 2 great martial arts, it wouldn't be a problem for him to break through to the sky-human realm. Ren Tianqing's gaze landed on the jade bottle again. The 2 martial arts were already so shocking. The spiritual pills must be incomparably precious. When the jade bottle was opened, 2 golden spiritual pills appeared. There seemed to be a soft dragon's roar, and a medicinal fragrance wafted out. It was extremely precious. Moreover, There were strange patterns on the spiritual pills that seemed to form the shape of a real dragon. With one look, one could tell that they were extraordinary. Could this be the legendary dragon transformation pill? Ren Tianqing's body trembled. He had seen the introduction of the dragon transformation pill before. The spiritual pills in the jade bottle were exactly the same as the dragon transformation pill. The dragon transformation pill was a supreme spiritual pill in the legends. It could cleanse one's body, change one's body, and improve one's aptitude. It was extremely magical. However, the dragon transformation pill was said to have been lost. The fact that Ling Xiao could take out such a lost spiritual pill confirmed his identity as a disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. Most likely, only the martial Dao Holy Land would have such an ancient spiritual pill. This is the gift he left for me and you, Ren Qing Luo took the jade bottle and held it tightly in her palm. Her eyes revealed a strange look. Ren Tianqing laughed bitterly and said, "Looks like we owe young Master Ling Xiao a favor. No matter what, we can't repay it. Moreover, to be able to take out two Earth-tier peerless martial arts and the lost dragon transformation pill so easily, young Master Ling Xiao is very respected even in the Sun Moon Star sect." Not mentioning the shock of Ren Tianqing and the rest, Ling Xiao had already left Qinghua City. Qinghua City was only 1,000 miles away from the capital. Moreover, the road was smooth. Ling Xiao followed the official road and headed north at a very fast speed. It was already the beginning of winter. The world was cold. The sky that was originally clear started to turn gloomy in the afternoon. Dark clouds rolled, and the north wind roared. Goose feather-like snowflakes started to fall. The world turned into a vast expanse of white. The wilderness was lonely, open, and barren. Only Ling Xiao advanced along the official road alone. But in this sky full of snowflakes, Ling Xiao felt a faint murderous intent again. The netherworld is really haunting me. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of cold light. He knew that the netherworld's assassins were approaching. Counting it, this was already the fourth assassination. Losing so many assassins, Ling Xiao also could not figure out why the netherworld would be so diligent. And what kind of price did Ling Yunxiang, that old thing, pay? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered with a cold light. His figure was like a shadow, slowly disappearing in the vast expanse of white snow. Swish! A streak of blood light flashed, dyeing the spotlessly white snow red. Ling Xiao's figure flashed and stabbed an assassin hidden in the snow to death with a sword. A sword to the throat, not giving him any chance to call for help at all. Ling Xiao's figure was like a ghost, instantly disappearing again. Under the perception of Ling Xiao's powerful spiritual energy, the hiding positions of all the assassins were crystal clear. He was like a reaper harvesting lives. Without waiting for the assassins to make a move, he had already taken their lives. The sword light was swift and fierce, but it did not emit the slightest bit of murderous intent. Ling Xiao's aura was very ethereal, as if he did not exist in this world. He was harvesting the lives of all the assassins at an extremely fast speed. This wave of assassins had more people, but in the end, all of them died under Ling Xiao's sword. After a quarter of an hour, Ling Xiao's body was spotless. More than 20 assassins from the netherworld had been piled up into a pile of corpses. Then, he burned them all with fire. The blazing flames illuminated Ling Xiao's cold gaze. Ling Yunxiang must die. Chapter 146. After killing all the underworld assassins, the journey became much calmer. The northern wind whistled, snowflakes danced in the air, and dark clouds rolled in the sky. The world was covered in white as if Ling Xiao was the only one left. Ling Xiao circulated his true qi, and each step he took covered more than 100 feet. Surprisingly, he did not leave any footprints behind. It was as if he was flying in the snow. With a light tap, he covered more than 100 feet, leaving no trace in the snow. If anyone saw this, they would be extremely shocked. This was an extremely high level of Qinggong. Only Sky Realm experts could fly in the air, and only Grandmaster Realm experts could leave no trace in the snow. They could even stay in the air for a short period of time. Ling Xiao's heaven-devouring true qi was extremely dense, and it was not much weaker than a Grandmaster Realm expert. After the sky darkened, Ling Xiao rested for a day in an inn. On the second day, the snow had stopped, and the sun shone on the earth, illuminating a world of ice and snow. Ling Xiao continued on his journey. Not long after, he saw a huge city appear on the horizon. The city was extremely vast, and it was like an ancient beast hibernating on the earth. The city walls were built with red stones, and they were hundreds of feet tall. Under the sun, they looked like flowing flames, and it was incomparably bright. The capital city, I've finally arrived. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of astonishment. The capital city was not unfamiliar to Ling Xiao, because it had existed 10,000 years ago. As the capital city of the Great Desolation ancient country, it was a place where the 9 dragons gathered, and it had extraordinary luck. The capital city exuded an ancient aura. The city walls were mottled, and there were traces of potholes on them. It showed that this ancient city had experienced countless storms and wars. The further Ling Xiao walked, the more he could feel the vicissitudes of the capital city. The direction Ling Xiao was heading towards was the gate of the capital city, the Great Desolation sect. It was located in the north, and it had an aura that could swallow the world. The 8 gates were wide open, and people were coming and going, showing the prosperity of the capital city. The capital city was different from a small city like Qinghua City. The capital city was hundreds of miles wide, and there were millions of people in the city. It was a very prosperous place where the rich and high-ranking officials of the Great Desolation ancient country gathered. Outside the city gates, many armored guards with exuberant qi and blood stared indifferently at the passing crowd with eagle-like eyes. These soldiers guarding the city were all at least in the realm of true qi, and their bodies were full of murderous aura. They were all elites on the battlefield. Ling Xiao stood at the back of the long line and followed the crowd into the city. Get out of the way, get out of the way. At this moment, a commotion broke out in the crowd behind them. Ling Xiao turned his head and saw a chariot coming from afar. The chariot was glowing with a scarlet light and looked extraordinary. The ones pulling the carriage were 2 incomparably pure white tigers. These 2 tigers exuded a powerful aura. Their eyes were crimson red, and their limbs contained a powerful force. They were actually 5th-order demonic beasts. 2 tiger beasts comparable to the Grandmaster realm. On both sides of the carriage, there were 2 groups of spear-wielding guards. They wore crimson armor that looked like flowing flames. Each of them looked valiant, and their auras were powerful. There was a different kind of beauty to them. These guards were all women. The curtains on the chariot drooped down, and a scarlet light flashed, making it impossible for people to see who was inside. However, Ling Xiao could faintly see that there seemed to be 2 women in the chariot. Although he couldn't see their faces, their figures were graceful, and their hands were slender. Their appearances should be extraordinary. The chariot went towards the leftmost door. That door was very fast, and only members of the imperial family and high officials could go through it. It's actually the little Princess Vermilion Bird Camp? Didn't the little princess already go to the Sun Moon Star sect to cultivate? You don't know about this, right? I heard that the little princess came back to participate in the New Year's grand ceremony of the Great Wilderness. Vermilion Bird Camp. I heard that although there are only 360 people, they are all experts above the true Qi realm, and each of them is as beautiful as a flower. If anyone marries the little princess, then it won't be a blessing for all, but a blessing for all, a blessing for all. I received inside information that the little princess didn't come back to participate in the New Year's grand ceremony. It seems that she has another goal, and that is to cancel her engagement with that trash. Engagement? Could it be the demon lord's son, Ling Xiao? I heard that the big trash cultivated for many years and still couldn't open his meridians. How can such a trash be worthy of the little princess? Isn't that so? After the demon lord disappeared, that big trash isn't having a good time either. I heard that the Ling family has already decided to let Ling Tianxi inherit the title of Demon Lord. That big trash is finished. TSK. There's a good show to watch now. The crowd discussed animatedly as they watched the chariot slowly approach from afar. Their eyes were filled with awe and veneration. Little Princess Xia Hongxiu. She wants to cancel the engagement. Hee, this is getting more and more interesting. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and his lips curled into a sinister smile. If the original owner, who hadn't been possessed by Ling Xiao, heard this, he would probably feel extremely humiliated and would immediately pounce on Xia Hongxiu to settle the score. However, Ling Xiao didn't feel anything. After all, the difference between the two of them was too big. It was expected that Xia Hongxiu didn't want to marry Ling Xiao. However, now that Ling Xiao had inherited everything from the original owner, it was fine if Xia Hongxiu didn't provoke him. However, if she dared to provoke Ling Xiao would definitely teach her an unforgettable lesson. Selling candied haws. Sweet and fragrant candied haws. Sir, do you want to buy one? At this moment, an old woman slowly walked to Ling Xiao's side. She held a straw target in her hand, and there were dozens of bright red sugar-coated haws on it. The woman smiled and interrupted Ling Xiao's train of thought. Thank you, but I don't need it. Ling Xiao shook his head. His gaze was still on the chariot, and he didn't turn around. However, in the next moment, Ling Xiao felt a cold murderous intent coming at him. It was almost on his chest in an instant. Not good. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. He realized that the originally old woman had an extremely cold murderous intent on her face. A dagger appeared in her hand, and she stabbed it towards Ling Xiao's heart. This stab was extremely vicious. Furthermore, the woman's disguise was extremely good. She took advantage of Ling Xiao's distraction to fool his senses. Once she got close to him, she wanted to kill him in one strike. An assassin from the underworld? Ling Xiao's mind reacted in a flash. He didn't expect the underworld to make a move at this moment. Furthermore, the aura of this woman was unfathomable. She was actually a grandmaster. A golden assassin. Chapter 147. At this moment of crisis, Ling Xiao's chest actually caved in. At the same time, Ling Xiao's left palm was like a blade, slicing across the old woman's wrist. His right fist exploded with unparalleled power, suddenly punching out. Bang! The old woman's blade missed, and at the same time, her palm was sliced by Ling Xiao. With a muffled bang, the old woman actually floated back like a piece of paper. Boom! Ling Xiao's fist landed in the air, giving off an explosive sound. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed an incomparably cold light. Pressing forward, the powerful qi and blood all over his body exploded. Dozens of invisible energy swords shot out, sealing off all of the old woman's escape routes. If Ling Xiao had not reacted quickly just now, he would probably have died in the hands of that old woman. The repeated assassination attempts by the underworld had finally caused Ling Xiao to become enraged. Kill! Ling Xiao punched out. Vast fist essence exploded, surging in all directions, enveloping the old woman under the fist aura. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the surrounding crowd, a few more figures shot out. Like ghosts, holding spears, they attacked Ling Xiao. It was only at this moment that the crowd finally reacted. They were so scared that they started to scream and run in all directions. Not good, enemy attack. Assassins. Protect the princess. The female warriors of Vermilion Bird Camp's eyes flashed, shouting loudly. A group of female warriors protected the carriage, and another group of female warriors held long spears, thrusting at the incoming assassins with incomparable speed. Ding ding dang dang. The old woman's gaze was cold. The dagger in her hand was extremely fast, blocking the dozens of invisible energy swords one by one, and giving off a series of metal clashing sounds. Ling Zhao's fist punched out, extremely young and strong, unmatched. The old woman's body spun in the air like a top, dissipating the power of Ling Zhao's fist, and her entire body floated like a snowflake. Kill her. The expressions of the many guards also changed greatly. There was actually someone who dared to assassinate the little princess in the capital. If anything happened to the little princess, none of them would be able to escape. The aura of this old woman was exactly the same as the aura of those assassins who had rushed out. Thus, they instantly made a decision. Under the lead of a burly young general wearing crimson armor, they charged towards the old woman. Seeing Vermilion Bird Camp and the city guards come out, Ling Zhao stopped and stood to the side to watch. Saber light and sword light filled the air. The guards were all experienced soldiers, and they were all well trained. They attacked at the same time, and their true energy surged as they shot toward the old woman. You're courting death. The old woman was enraged and spat out a hoarse voice. She moved as fast as lightning and the dagger in her hand quickly slashed across the necks of several guards. Blood splattered everywhere. Clang! The young general's eyes turned red as he slashed down with his saber. His attack was imbued with a powerful innate qi. He had actually reached the Dragon Tiger realm. However, the old woman raised the dagger in her hand, and a black divine light rushed out and pointed at the young general's long sword. Suddenly, the young general felt as if he had been struck by lightning, and he stumbled back a few steps. Bang bang bang. The other assassins who wanted to charge at Ling Zhao were also surrounded by the female warriors of Vermilion Bird Camp, and a great battle broke out. However, although these female warriors had the advantage in numbers and were skilled in cooperation, they were facing at least experts of the Dragon Tiger realm. Thus, in the fierce battle, they were immediately surrounded by danger. Just as an assassin's sword light came through the air and was about to pierce through the throat of a female warrior, an old voice exploded in the air. You're seeking death. Beside the carriage, there was an old man who was originally driving the carriage. He looked very unremarkable, but there was lightning flashing in his eyes at this moment. A large hand of true energy came through the air. It was extremely hot, and emitted a blazing flame as it grabbed at the assassins. Bang! That assassin did not have any power to resist, and his body instantly turned into a bloody mist in the air. The large hand of true energy swept out, and all the assassins were slapped to death, unable to withstand a single blow. Is it the heaven realm? Ling Zhao's eyes narrowed slightly. Xia Hongxiu should not have such power to have a heaven realm expert drive the carriage for her. Then it could only be the other woman. Who was that woman? What? The old woman's eyes changed drastically. Seeing the large hand of true energy coming towards her, her body suddenly flashed, and she turned into countless afterimages in the air, quickly escaping into the distance. Stay here. The old and indifferent voice sounded. The large hand of true energy suddenly exploded, and the blazing light turned into a sea of fire, enveloping all the afterimages. The sea of fire rose, vast and scorching. A scream was heard, and the old woman was instantly burned into ashes. Dang! A crisp sound was heard, and a golden token fell on the ground. Whoosh! A strong suction force came, and the golden token flew into the old man's hand in an instant. Saintus, it's the gold medal assassin of the underworld. The old man retracted his aura, and returned to his lazy and casual state. There was a faint light in his old and cloudy eyes. His voice was very low, but Ling Zhao's mental strength was very strong, and he heard his words. Saintus? Could it be the Saintus of the Sun Moon Star sect? This is interesting. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he thought to himself. Your subordinate Wang Biao greets your highness. The assassins disturbed your highness. Your subordinate will die 1,000 deaths. The young general fell to his knees in front of the carriage, and his face was filled with fear. Today, Someone actually dared to assassinate your highness' carriage. Fortunately, your highness was fine. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to redeem himself even if he died 1,000 deaths. He hated this group of assassins to the core. They had to assassinate me when I was on duty. They really deserved to die. Take the bodies of these assassins away. You don't have to care about this matter. I will deal with it myself. A crisp female voice sounded from the carriage. The curtains fluttered, and a graceful figure could be vaguely seen. Yes. Wang Biao saw that the little princess didn't pursue his responsibility, and he immediately heaved a sigh of relief. He wiped the sweat on his forehead, and ordered his subordinates to clean up the bodies of the assassins. Strange, those assassins were clearly here to assassinate me. Even if ordinary people don't know, the people in the carriage should know very well. Why didn't Xia Hongxiu interrogate me? Could it be that she recognized me? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he guessed in his heart. He originally thought of an excuse to deal with Xia Hongxiu's interrogation, but he didn't expect Xia Hongxiu to brush it off so easily, and even help him cover it up. As for Ling Zhao's help just now, although it had shocked everyone, they only thought of him as a young hero with extraordinary cultivation who had stepped in to help because he saw injustice. No one connected him to those assassins. That's strange. Ling Zhao didn't understand, and his gaze landed on the carriage. The carriage that stopped started moving again. Under the protection of the Vermilion Bird Camp, it slowly walked into the city. Chapter 148. Senior sister, do you know that brat? The assassins from the underworld were clearly targeting him. Why did you help him? Inside the carriage, there were two beautiful figures. One of them was a young girl wearing a red dress. She had snow-white skin and a graceful figure. Although she looked like she was only 15 or 16 years old, her figure was very hot. Her thighs were slender and firm. Her waist was small and slender. Hidden in her red dress, her breasts were towering, making one's blood boil. Her face was very delicate. She had cherry lips, a small nose, and big watery eyes. However, there was a trace of arrogance in her eyes, along with a trace of royalty. Her long hair was tied up high and a red whip was wrapped around her waist. She looked valiant and had a different kind of beauty. She was the little princess of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, the most beloved daughter of the Great Desolation King, Xia Hongxiu. At this moment, Xia Hongxiu's eyes were filled with doubt as she looked at the woman opposite her. I don't know him. It's just that he has a very familiar aura on his body. A clear and cold voice sounded. It was like a jade bead falling on a jade plate. It was very clear and pleasant to the ears. The woman slowly said. Her star-like eyes opened. In an instant, a brilliance was released and the entire carriage lit up. This was a woman that would make people feel ashamed of their inferiority. Her entire body was covered in a layer of faint moonlight. Her white clothes were whiter than snow. She looked incomparably agile, like a fairy from the Moon Palace. She had an extraordinary temperament. She had a peerless face that was breathtakingly beautiful. Her body emitted an indifferent and cold temperament, as if she was above the common populace. Her eyes were like the stars. They were dazzling and filled with a faint brilliance. Her black hair was scattered, and there seemed to be a full moon behind her head. She was beautiful and otherworldly. She was sitting there, but she seemed to be very far away, making it difficult for people to touch her. Even when Xia Hongxiu saw this woman, there was no jealousy in her heart. She was only full of admiration. If Xia Hongxiu was a princess of the mortal world, then this woman was a goddess above the 9 heavens. Her beauty was peerless and incomparable. A familiar aura. Xia Hongxiu was even more confused. Her eyes flashed with a hint of understanding. The woman before her was even more honorable than her. Her name was Yueshen, and she was the saintess of the Sun-Moon-Star sect. Her cultivation was unfathomable. That aura is too similar to the aura in the Forbidden Area. Who is that young man? Moon God's eyes were dazed. She felt more and more that young man was mysterious. Senior sister, do you want me to investigate that young man's identity for you? Xia Hongxiu rolled her eyes and asked with a smile. No need. If fate wills it, we will meet again. The moon goddess smiled faintly. In an instant, her beauty made the world lose its color. Even Xia Hongxiu couldn't help but become infatuated. This saintess was too pure and holy. Who knew who would be able to obtain her favor? Perhaps only the legendary young kings were worthy of her. Xia Hongxiu thought to herself. The carriage had already entered the royal capital. As for Ling Xiao, although he had doubts in his heart, he didn't think too much about it. He obediently queued up and entered the royal capital. The royal capital was huge. Even the streets were large enough to accommodate a dozen warhorses side by side. There were tall lofts and shops on both sides. The streets were very clean and were paved with a type of sturdy black jade. On the streets, people came and went. It was very prosperous. There are still 3 days before the end-of-year competition. I'll go to the spiritual potion pavilion to find Jiamu first. Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He didn't rush back to the Demon King's mansion. Instead, he inquired about the location of the spiritual potion pavilion and headed there. The current Demon King's mansion, Grand Elder Ling Yunxiang, wanted his grandson, Ling Tianxi, to inherit the title of Demon King. He didn't even hesitate to ask the underworld to deal with Ling Xiao. The current Demon King's mansion was definitely not a good place for Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao wasn't afraid, he didn't want to get into trouble. After all, in his eyes, Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi were already dead. The spiritual potion pavilion was founded by one of the 2 high-grade alchemy grandmasters of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, Pure Yang Spiritual Master. It was distributed throughout the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom and operated the business of spiritual pills and spiritual herbs. It could be considered a loose alchemy alliance. Grandmaster Jiao Mu was previously an elder of the spiritual potion pavilion. However, this time, Jiao Mu had the 5 profound spiritual pills, 6 profound spiritual pills, and 7 profound spiritual pills in his hands. Even in the royal capital, he would have a certain status. This time, Ling Xiao wanted to see how Jiao Mu was doing. If he did well, Ling Xiao wouldn't be stingy with giving this in-name disciple some benefits. The spiritual potion pavilion was located in the eastern part of the city. It occupied a few hundred acres of land. There were many lofts and exotic flowers and herbs could be seen everywhere. It was one of the most noble places in the royal capital. The alchemists of the spiritual potion pavilion were sought after by countless experts, especially the alchemy grandmasters. They could refine precious pills that could be consumed by grandmasters and even sky humans. Their status was incomparably noble. The resources that the spiritual potion pavilion earned every year would make the royal family of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom green with envy. When Ling Xiao arrived at the spiritual potion pavilion, he was secretly amazed. Esteemed guest, may I ask what you need? We have all kinds of spiritual pills and spiritual herbs here. I see that you have an extraordinary appearance and outstanding talent. Would you like to try our newly launched 5 profound spiritual pills and 6 profound spiritual pills? As soon as Ling Xiao walked into the spiritual medicine hall, a young servant with delicate features walked over and greeted him politely. The servant's eyes were very sharp. He could see that although Ling Xiao's clothes were very simple, his aura was extraordinary. He was clearly not an ordinary person. Moreover, Ling Xiao had used the heaven-devouring secret technique to conceal his cultivation, revealing only the cultivation of the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. Although reaching the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm at the age of 16 was already considered a genius, it wasn't considered shocking in the royal capital. Oh! 5 profound spiritual pills and 6 profound spiritual pills. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed and he revealed a faint smile. It seemed that Jiao Mu had done well. He had already refined these 2 spiritual pills and was selling them. That's right. The 5 profound spiritual pills and 6 profound spiritual pills were refined by Grandmaster Jiao Mu of the Spiritual Potion Pavilion. In the entire Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, only the Spiritual Potion Pavilion has them. The 5 profound spiritual pill can allow a spirit transformation realm expert to increase his cultivation by 3 levels without any conditions. As for the 6 profound spiritual pill, it can allow a spirit transformation realm expert to break through to the Dragon Tiger realm. Moreover, there are no side effects after consuming these 2 spiritual pills. The servant said proudly as he looked at Ling Xiao with anticipation. Oh. Then how much are the 5 profound spiritual pills and 6 profound spiritual pills? Ling Xiao asked calmly. The 5 profound spiritual pills are 1,000 peerless spiritual stones each and the 6 profound spiritual pills are 10,000 peerless spiritual stones each. These 2 spiritual pills were personally refined by Grandmaster Jiao Mu and are of superior quality. They are definitely worth the price. Would this young master like to give them a try? Chapter 149. So expensive? Ling Xiao was also shocked. It had to be known that all the materials for a 5 profound spirit pill were only worth 1,000 high-grade spirit stones. If the cost of refining the pill was included, it wouldn't exceed 2,000 high-grade spirit stones. Yet, it was priced at 1,000 high-grade spirit stones. This was simply 50 times the profit. The 6 profound spirit pill was the same. The profit was 100 times. Ling Xiao didn't expect that the old man, Jiao Mu, who seemed to be obsessed with alchemy, would be so black-hearted. So black-hearted and cruel, but Ling Xiao liked it. Young master, it's not expensive. You don't know, but the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill are usually in short supply. You can't buy them even if you want to. Today, Grandmaster Jiao Mu just refined them. If you wait a little longer, you won't be able to buy them. The servant misunderstood Ling Xiao's meaning, but he didn't mean to look down on him. Instead, he patiently explained. Sure enough, as soon as the servant finished speaking, a young man in black rushed in and shouted, "Are there any more 5 profound spirit pills and 6 profound spirit pills? Give me 10 of each. I also want 10 of each. Everyone, give the fierce tiger gang some face. Today's 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill, we'll take them all." Why should you take them all? First come, first served, okay. As the young man in black rushed in, many cultivators with powerful auras rushed into the Spirit Potion Pavilion. Their faces were filled with excitement. Grandmaster Jiao Mu's status was noble. After a month of testing, the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill had miraculous effects on cultivators at the spirit transformation realm. Moreover, they had no other effect. Naturally, countless people sought after them. However, the Spirit Potion Pavilion only provided 105 profound spirit pills and 6 profound spirit pills every 3 days. For the entire capital, it was simply a drop in the bucket. Therefore, as soon as they received the news, they all rushed in. When Ling Xiao saw this scene, he was also a bit speechless. It seemed that he had underestimated the attraction of the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill to everyone. Young master, if you don't buy them now, will they all snatch them away? The attendant was also anxious. Seeing the other attendants happily guiding customers to buy spirit pills, and Ling Xiao still had a look of disdain on his face, he couldn't help but urge Ling Xiao to hurry up. I'm not here to buy pills. I'm here to find Grandmaster Jiao Mu. You're not bad. Go and find Jiao Mu for me. You'll be rewarded. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and only then did he state his intentions. Who are you looking for? Master. Master Jiao Mu? The servant was stunned. He looked at Ling Xiao with an expression that said, "Are you crazy?" This young man looked about the same age as him. Although his bearing was extraordinary, he said that he wanted Master Jiaomu to see him. Could it be that he had lost his mind? The manservant nearly jumped up and cursed, but he still suppressed the anger in his heart and said with a wry smile, "Young master, how can Grandmaster Jiaomu be someone I can meet whenever I want? I heard that he's in seclusion refining pills. If I disturb him, I'm afraid I won't even know how I died. Since you don't want to buy any spirit pills, you'd better leave." The waiter didn't want to be entangled with Ling Xiao anymore, so he turned around to greet the other customers. "Waiter, if you can't see Jiaomu, then ask your manager to come over and call Jiaomu for me." Unexpectedly, Ling Xiao directly grabbed the waiter and refused to let him go. Although the waiter had a cultivation at the True Qi realm, how could he break free from Ling Xiao's arm? "Young master, I'm really powerless." The waiter was so anxious that he was about to cry. However, his eyes flashed, and he instantly saw a figure walking over. It was a middle-aged man in black robes. He had a mustache, a very long face, and small eyes that shot out wisps of light. He looked very shrewd. "Young master, he's our manager. Since you want to see Grandmaster Jiaomu, I'll go tell the manager. Whether or not the idiom works isn't something I can decide." The waiter looked at Ling Xiao with a long face. "All right." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The waiter walked over to the black-robed middle-aged man and bowed. He pointed at Ling Xiao as if saying something. In the next moment, the black-robed middle-aged man's expression changed, and he slapped over. Slap! The waiter screamed. Half of his face instantly swelled up, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was sent flying by the black-robed middle-aged man. Ling Xiao's gaze turned cold. His figure flashed, and he instantly teleported behind the waiter and caught him. "Are you all right?" Ling Xiao asked. The waiter covered half of his face, so aggrieved that tears came out. He said incoherently, "Young master, I've already spoken to Manager Ma, but he didn't agree. There's nothing I can do." Speaking of which, he was only a teenager. The reason he was humiliated for no reason was also because of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's gaze instantly turned cold. "Lu Cheng, you're getting bolder and bolder. Is Grandmaster Jiaomu someone that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can meet? If there's a next time, I'll break your legs." Manager Ma's cold and piercing voice rang out, and his gaze instantly landed on Ling Xiao. "Kid, are you the one who wants to meet Grandmaster Jiaomu? Grandmaster Jiaomu isn't someone that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can meet." Manager Ma saw that Ling Xiao's clothes were very ordinary, and his cultivation was only at the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. He also had a travel-worn appearance, so he knew that Ling Xiao wasn't some noble young master. He immediately sneered. "I'm indeed not here to meet Grandmaster Jiaomu." Ling Xiao looked indifferently at Manager Ma. There was no emotion in his voice as he said, "I want Grandmaster Jiaomu to meet me." "What did you say?" "Ha ha ha." Steward Ma stared blankly for a moment before bursting into laughter. It was as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He laughed so hard that his back was bent. "Kid, who do you think you are? Even the princes don't dare to speak so arrogantly. Are you the monarch of the great wilderness or the master of a martial arts holy land? Why don't you take a piss and take a look? You think you can get Grandmaster Jiaomu to meet you?" Manager Ma's gaze was cold as he looked at Ling Xiao. His body emitted a faint murderous aura as if he was about to attack at any moment. Manager Ma was also at the 3rd level of the Dragon Tiger realm. "While I'm in a good mood today, I advise you to scram. Otherwise, I'm afraid your limbs will be broken and you'll have to crawl out." Manager Ma's body emitted a powerful pressure that pressed down on Ling Xiao. The commotion here also attracted many customers of the spiritual elixir pavilion. Everyone looked like they were watching a show, and their eyes were filled with schadenfreude. Is this kid's brain flooded with water? He actually dares to ask Grandmaster Jiaomu to meet him. That's right. Grandmaster Jiaomu's prestige in the capital is only second to the state preceptor and spiritual master Chunyang. I think this kid is here to cause trouble, right? Manager Ma isn't a good person. Looks like this kid is going to suffer. Chapter 150. Hearing Steward Ma's words, Ling Xiao didn't get angry. Instead, he narrowed his eyes. A sharp glint flashed from his eyes and landed on Steward Ma. Steward Ma trembled, feeling as if he was being stared at by an ancient beast. His entire body stiffened. However, he immediately became angry out of humiliation. How could he be frightened by a brat at the third level of the spirit transformation realm? This brat is too despicable. How do you know that Master Jiaomu won't come out to see me? I advise you to obediently report to him. Otherwise, I won't be able to control what happens later. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Steward Ma's eyes flashed with a fierce glint. He sneered and said, "Brat, you're really arrogant. Now I've changed my mind. If you kneel before me and kowtow and beg for mercy, I can break your limbs and spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." Kowtow and beg for mercy. Break my limbs? That's a good idea. If you go and tell Jiaomu to come see me, I can also spare your life. Ling Xiao nodded indifferently. His expression was incomparably calm, as if he didn't feel Steward Ma's powerful aura. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Was this brat scared out of his wits? He actually dared to threaten Steward Ma. Everyone knew how ruthless Steward Ma was. Previously, when someone caused trouble in the spiritual potion pavilion, Steward Ma broke their limbs and crippled their cultivation before throwing them out of the spiritual potion pavilion like a dead dog. Even those powerful officials and dignitaries were very polite to Steward Ma because Steward Ma's sister was the concubine of the spiritual potion pavilion's deputy pavilion master. The pure young spiritual master usually didn't care about worldly affairs. Therefore, most of the matters in the spiritual potion pavilion were managed by the deputy pavilion master, Sun Qiyuan. Brat, you're courting death. Steward Ma's face instantly darkened. A cold murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Innate energy surged from his body as he sent a palm strike toward Ling Xiao. His palm was surrounded by a faint black glow. It was as hard as iron and stone, as if it could shatter everything. Iron Palm. A mystic class peerless rank martial art. A single palm strike could shatter gold and shatter stone. If a martial artist was hit by the iron palm, their internal organs would be instantly crushed by the fierce palm force. Even gods would not be able to save them. Steward Ma wanted to kill Ling Xiao, so his first move was his iron palm, which he was most proud of. The iron palm came flying through the air, containing traces of killing intent. With a faint sound of explosion, it arrived in front of Ling Xiao in an instant. In the eyes of the crowd, Ling Xiao stood there in a daze, not moving at all. There were even some people who couldn't bear it anymore. Such a youth was about to be killed by Steward Ma in the next moment. Boom! However, in the next moment, the expected scene of Ling Xiao's head being smashed by the iron palm did not happen. Instead, Ling Xiao's hand had grabbed Steward Ma's arm. The iron palm stopped 3 inches away from Ling Xiao's forehead, but could not advance any further. What? Steward Ma's expression changed. He felt as if his arm had been grabbed by a ferocious beast with boundless strength. He was unable to struggle at all. Kacha! A crisp sound was heard, and Steward Ma's arm was crushed by Ling Xiao in an instant. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent, but Steward Ma felt a wave of intense pain. His face contorted in an instant, and he screamed in pain. Ah ah ah! My hand! Little bastard, I'm going to kill you, kill you. Steward Ma seemed to have gone mad. His face was incomparably ferocious. His other hand slammed down towards Ling Xiao. Powerful innate gang qi erupted from his body like sharp swords, causing the blue stone floor in the hall to crack. Kacha! Ling Xiao's expression was still incomparably calm. His palm was like a knife, directly chopping down on Steward Ma's other arm. Another crisp sound was heard, and Steward Ma's other arm drooped down. Boom! Ling Xiao's leg was like the wind, crushing Steward Ma's knee. Steward Ma knelt on the ground with a thud, howling in pain. Steward Ma's blood-curdling screams were like that of a pig being slaughtered, resounding throughout the spiritual medicine hall. How dare you behave so atrociously in the spiritual medicine hall? You're courting death. Suddenly, a few incomparably powerful auras rushed over. Their gazes were indifferent, and their bodies emitted powerful auras, surrounding Ling Xiao. These people were all grandmasters, and their auras were unfathomable. Their powerful auras locked onto Ling Xiao, as if they would launch a thunderous attack in the next moment. Kill him for me. Kill this little bastard. Steward Ma was on the verge of going crazy. His 4 limbs had been broken by Ling Xiao, and he knelt on the ground in humiliation. He coughed up blood continuously, and his face was incomparably twisted. I advise you not to move. Otherwise, I'm afraid your end won't be much better than his. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Even though he was surrounded by several grandmasters, his expression was still very calm. The few grandmasters who were about to attack were stunned when they heard Ling Xiao's words, and they stopped in their tracks. Jiamu, I'm here. Get out here. A sharp glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. The aura in his body surged, and a thunderous voice erupted from his mouth, instantly reverberating through the entire spiritual medicine hall. Everyone was stunned, and then they looked at Ling Xiao as if they were looking at a fool. Was this young man really here to cause trouble? He had injured Steward Ma, yet he did not run away. Why did he have to alarm Master Jiamu with such momentum? Was he not afraid of death? A trace of resentment appeared in Steward Ma's eyes, but he did not stop Ling Xiao. When Master Jiamu came out, he would definitely let this kid die without a burial place. In a secret room in the spiritual medicine hall, Master Jiamu sat cross-legged in front of a red pill cauldron, but he looked a little dusty. Even his beard was a little burnt, and there were a few holes in his white robe. The pill cauldron in front of him was emitting black smoke, and there was a burnt smell coming from it. Failed again. Jiamu laughed bitterly and said, Old man, this sword heart pill is an ancient pill formula. The pill formula you gave me is still missing 2 spiritual herbs. Even though I found other spiritual herbs to replace them, it still seems to be missing something. I don't have any better ideas. Opposite Jiamu sat a middle-aged man with a face full of vicissitudes. His long hair fluttered in the wind, and he looked carefree and unruly. His face was elegant and extraordinary. With one look, one could tell that he was also a handsome man when he was young. He carried an ancient sword on his back, and his eyes were clear, emitting a faint trace of sharp sword light. Hearing Master Jiamu's words, the middle-aged man's eyes darkened. He laughed bitterly and said, We've already failed over 100 times in the past few days. It looks like this sword heart pill is really not fated with me. Forget it, old friend, I can't blame you for this. It looks like the heavens want to cut off my path to becoming a deva. Chapter 151. It's not impossible to refine the sword heart elixir. Jiamu thought for a while and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Oh. What other ways are there? The middle-aged man's eyes lit up and he immediately asked. His cultivation had been stuck at the peak of the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm for many years and he had never been able to step into the celestial being realm. This was because his sword heart was damaged and there was no way to reflect his heart. The sword heart elixir was his only hope. The middle-aged man's name was Li Ling. He was known as the 3 Masters of Wine, Sword, and Alchemy. He was also known as the 3 Masters of Wine, Sword, and Alchemy. He was famous in the royal capital. Although he was only a 9th level Grandmaster, he had once fought with a celestial being expert with the sword in his hand and finally retreated calmly. Therefore, the 3 Masters of Wine was also known as the number 1 person below the celestial being realm in the great wilderness ancient kingdom. Old man, I told you before that when I went to the longevity city this time, I became a disciple of a master. The pill formulas of the 5 profound spiritual elixir, 6 profound spiritual elixir, and 7 profound treasure elixir were all given to me by my master. Jiao Mu's eyes revealed a trace of respect as he said slowly, if my master is here, he will definitely be able to refine the sword heart elixir. Jiao Mu's voice was filled with fanatical trust. Old friend, what kind of person is your master? I've asked you many times but you refuse to tell me. Could he be an alchemy grandmaster? You know, even the state preceptor and pure yang spiritual master can't refine the sword heart elixir. Li Ling asked curiously. He could be considered outstanding. When his sword heart was damaged and his cultivation stagnated at the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm, he switched to alchemy. He wanted to find a way to break through from alchemy and was now an inferior alchemy Grandmaster. Li Ling and Master Jiao Mu had been old friends for decades. This time, Li Ling saw Jiao Mu take out the complete 7 profound treasure elixir formula, so he was moved and wanted to refine the sword heart elixir with Jiao Mu. He didn't expect that after countless failures, he still couldn't see any hope. Old friend, it's not that I don't want to tell you. It's just that without my master's permission, I can't say his name. Right now, I'm just a registered disciple of my master. Jiao Mu laughed bitterly and said, but master is a peerless scholar. His alchemy Dao attainments surpass mine by 100, 1,000 times. The 7 profound treasure pills pill formula was passed down to me by master. If he was around, he could definitely complete the sword heart pills pill formula. Old friend, why don't you wait a little longer? It won't be long before my master comes to the capital. Oh. Was he coming to the royal capital? Then I'll have to pay my respects to him. It's been many years since an alchemy grandmaster has appeared in our great desolation ancient kingdom. Li Ling's eyes also revealed a trace of yearning. Charred wood, I'm here. Why haven't you come out yet? At this moment, a drawn-out voice with a strange sound wave came through the secret room. Who dares to call you by your name? I'll go out and teach him a lesson. A sharp light flashed in Li Ling's eyes. Because of his repeated failures to concoct the sword heart pill, he was already in a bad mood. Now that he was disturbed in the secret room, a flame immediately rose in his heart. However, he suddenly realized that Master Jiao Mu's entire body trembled, and his eyes revealed a look of pleasant surprise. Moss. Young Master Ling is here. Ha ha ha, he's finally here. Old man, there's hope for your sword heart pill. Jiao Mu laughed loudly, appearing incomparably excited. He jumped up, opened the door of the secret room, and rushed outside. Who's young Master Ling? Li Ling's eyes were even more confused, but he still followed Jiao Mu out. In the Spirit Medicine Pavilion's hall, Ling Xiao was surrounded by a few Grandmaster powerhouses, but his expression was very calm, without a trace of fear. Those Grandmasters also revealed strange looks in their eyes, but they did not immediately make a move. Ling Xiao's shout just now must have alarmed Master Jiao Mu. One had to know that Master Jiao Mu's temper was not good, especially when the old man was in seclusion to refine pills. Ling Xiao would probably end up in an extremely miserable state if he disturbed him like this. Steward Ma lay on the ground and screamed, but his eyes revealed an extremely venomous look. He stared at Ling Xiao, wanting to see what would happen to him. The manservant had long been scared stiff, and his heart was extremely bitter. He did not expect that his customer would actually act like he had lost his mind and insist on disturbing Master Jiao Mu. Great, if Ling Xiao was blamed by Master Jiao Mu, he would definitely be implicated. It was not easy to find such a good job, but it seemed like it would go down the drain. However, what would happen to his sickly old mother who was still in bed? Thinking of this, the manservant's face became even paler. Who was calling me just now? An old and anxious voice sounded out. Immediately after, an old man with white hair and a beard rushed out from the back hall. His face was rosy, and his eyes flickered with the light of wisdom. His entire body emitted a blazing aura. As soon as he appeared in the hall, his eyes immediately fell on Ling Xiao, revealing an extremely excited expression. Master Jiao Mu. It really is Master Jiao Mu. Greetings, Master Jiao Mu. Oh my god, I'm actually able to meet Master Jiao Mu. It's such an honor. Master Jiao Mu, thank you for your 6 profound spirit pill. It allowed me to break through to the Dragon Tiger realm. You don't know, but I've been stuck at the 9th layer of the spirit transformation realm for a full 10 years without being able to break through. Many cultivators' eyes lit up when they saw Master Jiao Mu. Everyone bowed to Master Jiao Mu in admiration, and their eyes were filled with gratitude. Steward Ma struggled to kneel and pointed at Ling Xiao while crying bitterly. Master Jiao Mu, you have to uphold justice for me. This little bastard caused a ruckus in my spirit medicine pavilion and even said that he wanted you to come see him. After I tried to dissuade him, not only did he not listen, he even seriously injured me. Master, this little bastard must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. He dared to call you by your name and even asked you to come out. He doesn't put you in his eyes at all. You must kill this little bastard. After he finished speaking, Steward Ma looked at Ling Xiao with a face full of hatred. His eyes were filled with coldness. He knew very well that Master Jiao Mu and Old Man Sanju were refining pills in seclusion and had ordered that no one was to disturb them. Ling Xiao actually dared to call Master Jiao Mu by his name and even asked him to come out. He was simply courting death. Now, Master Jiao Mu had rushed out in such a hurry, and he looked very miserable. His beard was slightly burnt, and his clothes were tattered. Steward Ma smelled Master Jiao Mu's aura and knew that Master Jiao Mu must have failed this time. Perhaps it was because of Ling Xiao. He looked at Ling Xiao like he was looking at a dead man, waiting to see his miserable end. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.